1984 Stanley Cup playoffs. Tonight, the Islanders take on the Washington Capitals for Game 2 of the Patrick Division Final. I'm Jiggs McDonald with Ed Westfall and Stan Fischler here at what will be a jam-packed Nassau Coliseum. Washington leading the series 1-0. The Islanders dropping behind last night, defeated by a score of 3-2. Eddie, it's not the first time as we look back. Game 2 of this best-of-7 series. We'll see Al Jensen starting goal for the Capitals. He is undefeated in the playoffs this year. 1.67 is goals against average. A lifetime playoff record of 4 wins, 2 losses. The losses against the Islanders a year ago, and a more than respectable 2.82. 33-year-old veteran Bill Smith back in goal for the New York Islanders tonight. He has 3 wins, 3 losses this year. 2.67 is goals against average. Lifetime 2.70. The referee will be Brian Lewis, joined by Ron Finn and Leon Stickle as the linesman. Brian Trottier comes out to center ice, joined by Mike Bossy and Greg Gilbert. Kenny Potvin on the left side of the Islander defense. Ken Morrow up in the right side. Christian on the draw for the Capitals, and the Islanders play it back into their own zone. Morrow to Potvin. Potvin, a long breaking pass just out of the reach of Trottier. It's loose in the Washington end of the ice. Langway touches up. And the Islanders, 12 seconds into the opening period, charged with having iced the puck.
And that's a set-up play, Jiggs. They do that deliberately as we take a look at the scratches for both teams. Pass by Potvin only inches away from Brian Trottier. McKinnon, Anderson, Heidi, Adams, Valentine, Evison, Francis-Shetty, and Mason all scratched for the Capitals. Arudi, Deneen, Merrick, Helene, Lane, Bourne, and Sutter. 2 different than it was last night for the Islanders. As we had mentioned to you, Bourne with a acromial clavicle separation of the left shoulder, 5 to 7 days, and Sutter with a bruised left knee.
Now Butch Goring out with Wayne Sutter, and Brian Trottier as Potvin waits back to the net. Morrow watching Curry, who was parked in front of the goal along with Bill Smith, and now Sutter has given it to Trottier. His pass intercepted at center ice. Duchesne to Gould, who was knocked down by Potvin's check. Morrow sends Goring over the Washington line. Goring shot grabbed by Jensen, dropped it for Langway. Around the boards and out into the center ice zone. Coming back forward is Clark Gillies. Curry goes into forecheck as Gillies plays it to center, picked up by Gould. Had to wait for Curry to get back onside. Gave the puck to Langway. Now to Murphy. Murphy's pass went off Goring's stick, and Langway chases it. Ron Langway to Jarvis, tries the right side. Goring came back for the Islanders, giving it to Thomas Janssen, now to Langevin. This Gillies with the pass at center ice. Murphy backhands it to the line where it hits Sutter. Dumped into the Islanders zone by Lachlan. Langevin for the Islanders. To Gillies, and he has cleared it inside the Washington blue line. This is Scott Stevens. Out to Lachlan. Lachlan at center ice, shot it wide of Smith. It rebounded in front. Smitty out of the goal, plays it around the boards, away from Sampson to Pat Flatley. Now to Pat LaFontaine. He and Tonelli move over the Washington line. LaFontaine handling the puck. Is in along the boards, got checked in the corner. And a penalty call coming up. John Tonelli.
Scott Stevens cross-checked him, Jiggs. That's where the penalty's going to come from. A break in the action here in the first period with the Islanders nothing, the Capitals. John Tonelli right in front of the net as Pat LaFontaine tried to get the puck to him.
Well, the Islanders, with their first power play of Game 2, they've made the power play work only once in 24 opportunities. A 4.2% efficiency, but at least they have some numbers on the board now. Gilbert has dumped it into the Washington zone. Jensen was counted it, and Trottier shot it wide. It's slapped out into the center ice zone by Jarvis. Picked up by Janssen. He and Potvin are on the points. Bossy, Trottier, and Gilbert up front. Janssen dumped it into the Washington zone. Gilbert into forecheck. But Langway touches up, and they're calling the Islanders back for having iced the puck.
Thomas Janssen didn't get across the red line, Jiggs. He thought he had, but he didn't. There's the power play statistics for the Islanders. 1 for 24, as you mentioned. That's a 4.2 inefficiency, not efficiency. And the Capitals penalty killing, 2 for 10. 80%. Respectable, not outstanding in the penalty killing department at 80%. I think they had 86%, 86 point something all season long.
Yes, best in the league at over 86%. Strachey relayed Pearson's pass to Bossy. He gets across the line, working on Langway in front to Gilbert. He shoots, picked off by Jensen. It actually went off the post. Jensen moved out and hit the post to his left. Here's Pearson in front. Bossy's drive to a screen was blocked by Murphy, and the Capitals are able to clear it to center ice. 1 minute gone in the penalty against Scott Stevens. There's no score if you just joined us. Potvin gave the puck to Pearson. Now to Gilbert. Went to his backhand, gets over the Washington line. Trying to make the play. Langway all over top of him, and Curry dumps it down the ice.
Good play by Langway, Jiggs. He doesn't let Gilbert get to the puck, and one of the Washington Capitals moved in quickly. I think it was Duchesne, and shot it down the ice.
Nelly handling it inside the Washington zone. The shot went off Jensen's stick, picked up by LaFontaine. Comes out of the corner with it. Pat LaFontaine drops it to Potvin. Entered it out in front. Nobody there. Pearson holds it in at the right point. Gave it to Tonelli. Peels off the boards. Over to Bossy, to Trottier, or LaFontaine rather, and he couldn't get a stick on it. Pearson gets tied up on the boards. Tonelli dug it loose. Gave it to Potvin. A drive. Jensen the stop. There's the rebound, and it's blocked in front. Comes off the pile up at the side of the net, and play has been called. The puck loose momentarily, but the whistle has sounded.
Can't come any closer. Al Jensen knows it. He was down, helpless, couldn't get a hold of anything to get leverage, to get to the puck. He got some help from his friends. John Tonelli's pass to Potvin. Potvin roars back, lets the shot go. Jansen made the save, but the rebound, Pat LaFontaine hammered it. Then with Bossy moving in front, let's go with a shot. Blocked by the defenseman. Tonelli tried to hammer it into the net, but it's underneath the goaltender, and his defenseman from the left side stopped the play. We have a problem now with the glass. Ron Finn, the linesman, pointing up at the glass, saying that it's uneven. Something's wrong with it. I guess they're going to let it go. It's up high enough. None of the players are tall enough to come in contact with the glass, at least 7 or 8 feet above the ice surface.
9 seconds left in the penalty to Scott Stevens. LaFontaine will take the face-off. Flatley goes to his left, Tonelli to the right. Boudelier and Morrow at the points. The puck cleared around the boards by the Capitals. Boudelier comes over. Dumped it to the corner for LaFontaine. Now to Pat Flatley to the blue line. Boudelier with a shot. Cleared aside by Jensen. Picked up by Flatley. To LaFontaine. And off Jensen's stick. LaFontaine up to Flatley. Flatley centered one off Tonelli's stick. Stevens is back out on the ice. Couldn't get it to Murphy. There's Flatley for the Islanders to Tonelli. And he tipped up from behind. Another penalty call. The Islanders go right back to the power play. 16:07 left in the first period. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on SportsChannel.
It's on the ice for his first shift here in the hockey game as John Tonelli picks up the puck. Carpenter pulls the right foot out from underneath Tonelli. Just after Stevens come out of the penalty box, Carpenter goes right back in, so the Islanders' power play will continue.
Butch Goring will take the face-off. Anders Kaller is over on right wing. Clark Gillies on the left. The puck went back to Pearson at the point. To Potvin, to Pearson. Once more to Potvin. Dumped it in front. Off Jarvis. It's picked up by Gillies. Worked it around behind the net. Kaller hooked it loose, but Stevens was there. It's intercepted off Gillies. But the Capitals are able to clear it as Curry forces Pearson to go back.
The Islanders had 3 shots in their first power play. It's encouraging for the Islanders.
Here's Goring across the line. Dumped it to the corner. Gillies and Gould bump together. Both of them go down. Now Goring comes in to forecheck. He's unable to knock it away from Stevens. Kaller trying to come off the boards. Gave it to Goring. Goring works his way out of the corner. Feeds the point to Pearson. Over to Potvin. Centered one in front. Hopped over the stick of Stevens. Picked up by Gillies. Gillies and Stevens waltzing around. Now to Kaller. Up to Goring. He scores! Goring from Kaller.
Anders Kaller gets inserted into the lineup. He led the Islanders last year against the Washington Capitals. As you pointed out, Jake, with 7 points. He just set up Butch Goring on a fine give and go. Clark Gillies fights off. Scott Stevens gives the pass to Kaller. Kaller to Goring, and one quick move. It's in the lower left-hand corner. 1-0 as Goring registers the first goal for him in the playoffs.
You see the time, 4:43. Kaller and Gillies will get assists on the goal. The comes Rich Carpenter, sitting on a tripping penalty. The Capitals have not had a shot on goal. They have been shorthanded for most of this first 5 minutes. Now at the Islander line, Gustafson lost the puck as he tried to move it on Langevin. Trottier works it to the right wing. That's Mike Bossy. Bossy gets over the blue line, was checked. The puck went to Gartner. Cuts to the left side at center ice. Gartner mishandled it. Gilbert put it on Gustafson's stick, but Gartner was trapped inside the blue line and offside.
Ben Gustafson, his presence hasn't been felt so far here in this series. Last night, a little tentative, didn't skate. One of the great assets of Gustafson is his ability to skate and handle the puck. He does not skate like he used to. He's still hurting, obviously, from the knee injury that kept him out of the last 7 regular season games.
Some of the Washington people, the Capitals people that is, felt that the Islanders went after that knee. Potvin drew a penalty in the first period. They felt Tonelli had tried to take advantage of him, jabbing at him. He's back in the lineup tonight, so is Bob Gould, who had been injured. The Capitals back in their own zone. The relay comes up the right side for Gartner over the Islander line, but lost it. Trottier plays it back into center ice. This is Murphy. Waited, then shot it around the board. Smith lets it come to the left wing corner. Langevin unable to move it out of there. It's picked off the boards by Gilbert. Over to Bossy. Took the pass and escapes. It's over the line, working on Chan. Gave it to Janssen. Now to Trottier. Comes right in. Shoots. He scores! Trottier!
Good shot by Brian Trottier between the legs of Al Jensen as the Islanders come gracefully out of their own end of the ice, showing some of the poise that was missing in last night's game. Look at Bossy, held the puck just long enough to give it to Thomas Johnson. He quickly gave it to Brian Trottier, and in the 5-hole, they call it now, between the legs of Al Jensen, and the Islanders go ahead 2-0. Here's the play. Bossy to Johnson. Thomas Johnson's pass to Brian Trottier, and it's in the net, and it's 2-0. Trottier's second goal of the playoffs.
And his 44th career playoff goal as the Islanders up 2-0. And a late penalty in effect against the Islanders. There's Shan moving in. Offside was the call, and now the penalty will be handed out in Washington. We'll get a power play. A little scuffle, a little pushing going on after the whistle as you see them converging in the Islander end of the ice. But the Caps will get the man advantage coming up. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs as the Islanders lead the Capitals 2-0.
At LaFontaine. Kind of an unusual penalty for LaFontaine. Looking at the shots on goal, Washington, through 6 minutes and 9 seconds, have not had a shot at Billy Smith as of yet.
The power play clicked twice in the opening game last evening. They moved to the Islander line. Murphy gave it to Gartner, who's dumped it around the boards. This is Gustafson over on right wing. Billy Carroll riding hurt on him, and Kaller clears it to the line. Murphy unable to hold it in, and Persson has dumped it down the ice. Rod Langway gave it to Christian. He comes over the line. Langevin stood him up straight, and Kaller cleared the puck. Langway waits for his teammates. Now Christian misplayed the puck. Langway right at the blue line. A drive blocked in front. It hit Christian. Came off Gustafson, actually, then to Christian, and it was cleared down the ice by the Islanders. 50 seconds gone in the Islander penalty as Langway got away from Tonelli's check. Rod Langway at the blue line. Made it to the left side, comes right back to Langway. Is shot off the stick and tossed wide of the Islander net. Goring picked it up, was grabbed. There's going to be a penalty against the Capitals. A hooking penalty nullifies their power play with 55 seconds left in LaFontaine's sentence. Craig Laughlin heads for the penalty box.
A loss of a power play, an important power play. There's Laughlin reaching out, getting a hold of the arm of Butch Goring, spinning him to the ice. Laughlin goes to the penalty box, and the Washington Capital power play nullified. LaFontaine still in the penalty box with 55 seconds, so the Islanders will play even against Washington for 55 seconds, and then they're going to have a power play for 1:05.
If you joined us late, the Islanders are without Brent Sutter, a bruised knee, Bob Bourne with a shoulder injury. Anders Kaller and Billy Carroll are back in the lineup tonight. Boudelier has played it around the boards in his own zone. The Capitals pick up the loose puck. Carpenter with a quick shot. Smith the save. That's their first shot on goal. Carroll feeds it to the right wing corner. Boudelier ahead to Caller. Now to Billy Carroll. Carroll comes over center ice. 2 men back. He's across the Washington line. Brings the puck back into the center ice zone. Now to Persson. To Morrow. Eddie Morrow at center ice. He's across the line. Lets the shot go. Jensen the save, but offside has been called. Billy Carroll went in and tucked the puck into the empty goal, but the whistle nullified the play.
Game 5 on Tuesday night was one of the most exciting hockey games ever played. If you want to relive all the heart-stopping action, Sports Channel presents exclusive encore presentation tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. If you missed it once, don't miss it again. The Islanders and Rangers, Game 5, right here on Sports Channel.
I'd like to go on record, and I hope you'll join me in thanking Stan Isaacs of Newsday for his coverage of that game, our telecast here on Sports Channel, drawing the column today and Newsday. Kind words, and they're appreciated. Trache took a dive, no penalty. By the way, Stan Isaacs will be my guest on Open Line Sports Sunday morning on WBAB.
All right, critic. We can listen to Stan Isaacs on the microphone then on Sunday morning, and then off we go to Washington.
That's right. We'll have Game 3 of this series for you on WOR TV Sunday night at 7. Game 4 will be Monday night at 7:30.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Islanders, is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Islanders and Sports Channel is prohibited. Announcers on this broadcast are selected by Sports Channel and approved by the New York Islanders.
The Islanders have a power play at the moment. Laughlin sitting out a hooking penalty as Persson gave the puck to Potvin. He's over the Washington line, was checked. Bossy unable to move in time to recover the puck, and Persson has to chase it. Duchesne into forecheck as Persson gave it to Gilbert. Across it went to Bossy. Mike Bossy dancing on those skates as he comes to center. Gave it to Potvin. Got it in around the boards. Jensen left it for Murphy. Gilbert on top of him in a hurry, but it went to Langway. And Langway has cleared the puck down the ice right to Bill Smith. Duchesne comes in quickly. Smith plays it around to Potvin on the left boards. Potvin got it into the Washington zone. It hits Stevens and is cleared down. Aaron Beach out on the right side of the Washington defense. 12 seconds remaining in Laughlin's penalty. The Islanders are up 2-0. Persson, a pass across out of the reach of LaFontaine. He'll pick it up inside the Islanders zone. He lost it. It touched Curry, apparently. Delayed offside was in effect, and as Curry made contact with it, there's no further play.
On the Washington Capitals side, Jiggs, you got to remember last night they were down 2-0. While it came in the second period, the second goal, they did come back to win the hockey game. So they know they can come back and win a hockey game. The thing they have to be very careful of is with the way they're playing and only one shot on net almost halfway through this period, is that the Islanders could mount up a pretty good lead before the period ends, kind of lead that would be insurmountable.
Yeah, that has got to be on their minds, I would think. The Islanders pour into forecheck. Finelli up with Flatley and LaFontaine over center ice. Gartner at the Islander line, slowed up by Longevin's check. Christian picks up the puck. David Christian tied up in the corner by Thomas Janssen. LaFontaine in a battle for it with Gartner, and it's cleared around behind the net. There's Langevin. Right side to Flatley, across to Finelli. Finelli trying to kick it in around Beach. The two of them bumped together. Beach went down. LaFontaine picks up the puck. Put it out in front of Flatley. It's in the net. It's 3-0.
Thing you have to be afraid of when you're down 2, that they don't pop an unusual goal to make it 3. And that's exactly what's happened with Pat LaFontaine spearing the puck. It seemed to hit Jensen on the right shoulder, fall down, and then trickle across the goal line. Take a look. As the Islanders come in quickly, that's LaFontaine as he shot the puck. It looked like it was deflected. Jensen got a piece of it. Then the puck seemed to drop straight down and roll into the net harmlessly. And it's 3-0 now as the Washington Capitals fall further behind and only one shot on goal.
The Capitals, a young team with a lot of poise, And now we've got a penalty call coming. Behind the play, referee Brian Lewis caught an elbow thrown by John Tonelli. So the Islanders will be shorthanded. There's a break in the action. The Islanders are leading the Washington Capitals 3-0.
Tonelli in the penalty box taking a semi-bath shower. Elbowing, that's the call on Tonelli. Washington, if they don't get a goal here, they're really in trouble. They've had one shot on goal. The last 3 shots the Islanders have had against the Washington Capitals, all 3 have gone in the net.
They recover the puck following the draw. Long shot off Smith's stick. Ends up in the corner. Langevin took a hit from Lachlan. Langevin returns the favor, running into Carpenter, while Goring tried to knock it away from Langway. This is Carpenter. Lachlan peels off the boards. Fires one off the goalpost. It's loose in front of the net and picked up by Langevin. Around Howard. Comes over center ice and dumps it into the Washington zone. And Lachlan seems to be shaken up as he goes back toward the Washington bench. And a player change. He took a vicious hit. Langway with the puck. Gave it to Carpenter. He's over the Islander line to Gustafson on right wing. Back to Langway. To Murphy. Murphy shot. Hit Potvin in front of the net. And a cross-checking penalty called against Morrow. Morrow took Gartner into the side of the Islander net, and they're going to be 2 men short.
Ken Morrow heads for the penalty box. Still 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining on John Tonelli's elbowing penalty. The Washington Capitals get a semi-reprieve. They have to do something about it, though. They're down 3-0. 9:07 remaining here in the first period. They have been listless for the whole first half of this period. Good shot from the point. Let's take a look at it. There's the hard shot. Stopped in front. Excuse me, that's the one that went off the goalpost. Langevin a moment ago and made a pretty good stop. That one, Billy Smith used part of his equipment that doesn't move with him, the goalpost, to knock a shot away as the Washington Capitals come close.
And setting up the chant of defense as Stevens took the pass from Beach, played it to the side of the net. They center. Smith blocked the first one, couldn't handle the second as Gustafson puts it over to his arm, and the Capitals with a power play goal are on the board.
Ben Gustafson, he's now being felt. His presence is on the ice. Has put the first goal in for Washington on their second shot of the hockey game. Let's take a look. Scott Stevens makes a nice play here as he steps around Stefan Pearson. There's the backhand pass across the ice. One shot by Gustafson, stopped by Smith. 2 shots. Gustafson rings it off the mask of Billy Smith, and it's in the net. And it's 3-1 as Washington try to get back into the hockey game. There's the quick shot. There's the stop by Smith. There's the second shot. Actually, it's the third by Gustafson, and it's off Smith's mask and in the net.
Gustafson at the 11:02 mark. That kills off Tonelli's penalty. Morrow sitting out the balance of a cross-check right now, so Washington playing 6 against 5.
It was important, Jiggs, that Washington score that quickly, too, because now they're still on a power play. Had they let one of the penalties run out, they'd have been playing at even strength.
Christian carries the puck in. Parks on the far boards. Gave it to Stevens. Down to Beach. Beach lets it go. Smith got the catching glove on it. Went to the corner, and Caller unable to clear it out. Here's Christian turning. Dave Christian back to the blue line. Gave it to Stevens. Centered one in front off Gartner, and they score. Gustafson parked at the side of the net, and it's 3-2 as Washington battles off the rope.
It's 3-2, Jiggs, and it's deja vu. The same play scored a moment ago. 2 power play goals here, back-to-back. Go to Ben Gustafson. He got himself in the right position. Here's Christian as he backhands the puck across. Stevens takes a look, guns it in. Gardner tipped it, and watch this. Right there, slam dunk. Gustafson in front of Dennis Potvin has brought the Washington Capitals within 1 of the Islanders.
Gartner and Stevens get the assist on the first goal. And it will probably be just about well, Christian, I believe, figured in the second one.
48 seconds, Jiggs. They had 2 goals, and now they're within reach.
And there's a shot from Gillies steered aside.
Gustafson.
So it's 3-2 as Washington had trailed 3-0, and they battle back. Curry into the Islander zone. Gets a ride into the boards from Langevin and Gillies, and the puck goes loose. Johnson being forechecked by Duchesne. Plays it to the corner. Curry and Goring collide. Puck dumped into the corner. Bobby Gould couldn't pick it up. Duchesne and Goring go after Curry and Goring at least. This is Curry. Goring hangs right with him. The referee gets out of their way, and Bobby Gould comes off the boards with the puck. Lets it go, and it was blocked by Johnson. Scoring backhander hit Curry. Scoring now to Dwayne Sutter. Shoots it down into the Washington zone. It's going wide of the net. The Islanders will be called for having iced the puck. 7 minutes, 13 seconds left in the first period. The Islanders lead the Capitals 3-2.
Arbor, the tone has changed. His hasn't, but the tone of the hockey game has changed. Something he's not pleased with now. A moment ago, the Islanders with a commanding 3-0 lead. Now they lead by 1.
Ames at 6 aside as Morrow shoots the puck into the Washington zone. It comes around to Laughlin on the right side. Trottier ran into him. The Caps start out. Sampson carried the puck. Gave it to Jarvis. Shot it wide of Bill Smith, who reached for it and missed. Kenny Morrow around to Paul Boudelier. Up the left wing for Gilbert. Dumps it into the center ice zone. Stevens has it. Scott Stevens to Doug Jarvis. Shot it out of the reach of Sampson. Morrow goes back for the Islanders. Kenny Morrow given a bump in the corner by Jarvis as Bossy picks up the puck. Played it off Sampson and it's recovered by Boudelier. Paul Boudelier over the center ice stripe. Gave it to Bossy. Cuts in through the defense on the backhand. Shoots. He scores!
Mike Bossy on the backhand. We've seen him do it several times. Right underneath the outstretched left leg of Al Jensen. Beautiful play by Bossy, and playoff hockey is no more here in this hockey game, turning into a wide-open contest. Bossy gets around Scott Stevens, goes to the backhand in front of number 6, Darren Beach, and puts it underneath the outstretched left leg of Al Jensen. Let's look again. Paul Boudelier. Perfect pass, a beauty. Boudelier to Bossy. He fights off a couple of checks and puts it underneath Al Jensen's left leg. And the Islanders 4-2. Deja vu. How about the Rangers? Mike Bossy scored a goal almost exactly in the series against New York, going to the backhand. They pulled Jensen now. Pat Riggin is coming in to take some warm-up shots as Al Jensen has been sent to the sideline.
Boudelier and Gilbert will get the assists on Bossy's third goal in the playoffs. That's his 72nd career playoff goal. And the call has gone to Pat Riggin. Riggin played the first game of the playoffs this year against the Philadelphia Flyers. Beat them. Was injured in the game. Jensen replaced him. You see his lifetime playoff record at 7 wins and 8 losses, 3.48 goals against average. His father was a goaltender, an outstanding junior goaltender, and ran into some eye injuries in at that time, the Western League, which was a professional league. And here is his son back into playoff action now with the Caps. Eddie?
The New Jersey Nets Atlanta Hawks game from the Byrne Meadowlands Arena is now being shown on Cablevision Long Island, Channel 15. This game will also be seen on SportsChannel tonight at 12 o'clock on tape delay. Some soft goals in this hockey game, Jiggs. Here we are, 6 minutes and 21 seconds still remain. In the first period, we've had 6 goals already scored. Islanders leading 4-2. They riddle and send Al Jensen to the bench.
Jensen gave up 4 goals on 10 shots. Bill Smith has given up a pair of goals on 6 shots. Pat Riggin is one of those goaltenders who catches with the right, holds the stick in the left hand, something the Islanders will have to think of. Of course, they faced that situation in the Rangers series against Glenn Hanlon.
Exactly, Jiggs. It's instinctive. A lot of players, and I mean good scorers, players like Bossy, quite often when they don't have time, they instinctively go for the stick side. They try that with Pat Riggin. His catching mitt will be right there.
Well, LaFontaine is at center ice. Flatley is on the right wing. Tonelli on the left side for the Islanders. Johnson handling the puck. He's on defense with Langevin and has forced the Caps in. Back into their own zone. Flatley gets waltzed around. LaFontaine in to try and dig it off the board. Flatley knocked down. It came out in front, but right to Alan Haworth. Haworth on the right side. Tonelli and Langevin tied him up. Johnson clears the puck up the left wing for LaFontaine. That's LaFontaine. Left it for Langevin. Missed Flatley on the right side. The puck loose in the Washington zone. And icing is the call with 5 minutes and 47 seconds left in the first period.
Here the crowd, Jiggs, trying to get things rolling. The Islanders and the Washington Capitals not playing a typical Capital Islander game. 6 goals. The crowd feels it. Trying to get things hooped up, get in behind the team, and get them going a little bit better. While the Islanders are not playing that bad, they have given up 2 goals here in the first period. Washington Capitals. Pat Riggin now replacing Al Jensen, giving up 4. Look for a 2-1, 3-2 hockey game like we did last night, and already they've gone by that score.
Crowd was rather quiet last night. In response to that, there's a sign up tonight, one of the local sign painters, that says, "Hey, Torrey," dealing, of course, with Bill Torrey, Islander general manager. We got a shot clock. It looks like we need an applause sign. Offside the call as the puck was outside the blue line and dumped right back in again.
Jiggs Mike Bossy has 2 points tonight. That's so far. There's the shot clock signing the sign, mentioning the shot clock, and now an applause clock on the board up behind the Islanders bench. Talking about Mike Bossy and his 2 points, give him 128 points in Stanley Cup play. He's now at 11th place in the all-time points list, passing Yvon Cournoyer, the Roadrunner, at 127, and Maurice Richard with 126.
All right, fine company. Persson, Billy Carroll over on right wing, back to Persson, to Carroll. Carroll checked by Gustafson. Bobby Nystrom dumps it into the Washington zone. Riggin cut it off back of the net. Left it there for Murphy to Langway. Up to Gustafson. Made the pass to Christian. Gartner trails him as they come over the line together. Christian backhanded it through in front. Murphy lets it go, and that was steered wide. Stevenson off the blue line. A shot hit the side of the goal, and then is grabbed by Smith, and they held it for a face-off. With 5 minutes and 7 seconds left in this first period, Stanley Cup playoffs. The Islanders leading the Capitals 4-2. This in the circle to the right of Bill Smith. Brian Trottier out to take the draw. Curry on the face-off for the Capitals. Gould is on the right side. Trottier wins the face-off cleanly for Morrow. Duchesne is the other forward, by the way, for the Capitals. Boateng got spun around by Curry's check. Here's Morrow starting out. Benny Morrow at center ice. Shot it into the Washington zone. Riggin leaves it back to the net. Beach tries the right side with his pass. Alworth goes rink wide, just out of the reach of Eriksson. Morrow and Eriksson go to the corner boards together. Benny Morrow overplayed it. Here's Stevens with a drive. Smith steers that aside. Picked up by Haworth. Went to center one and hit Potvin. Loose in front. Eriksson back to Stevens. He and Dwayne Sutter go to the board. Stevens comes up with the puck. Played it to the corner. It's centered out in front. Oh, escape saved by Smith. A dazzling stop as Stevens came crashing into him.
Everybody at that end of the ice, Jiggs, is on their feet. I mean, the fans, they recognize a save by Billy Smith, the kind of save that has kept the Islanders in many hockey games over the years. Playoff and ready and regular season. Look at the play here. Look at the tip shot. Smith gets the left skate on it and deflects it just outside the goal post. Close call. As the Washington Capitals try to get back into the hockey game, they trail by 2. They were all around the net. There's the deflection. Look at Smith, his second reaction. He got his mitt in front of it, but didn't get it with the mitt. Scott Stevens comes tumbling in over Dennis Potvin. Quite a pile-up in front of the net, but Billy Smith has stopped the puck and held on. Shots have changed drastically here now as the game goes on into the later stages of the first period. 10-9 now as the Washington Capitals start to work their way back. We used to call that throw conditioning at them. We tried everything else.
I can understand that. Curry gets himself waved out of the face-off circle by linesman Ron Finn, so Bob Gould on the draw for the Caps. Got it to the boards. Curry and Boudelier got tangled up. Now Trottier has fed it to Persson. Stephen Persson to Boudelier. Gave it to Dwayne Sutter. His shot off the blocking glove of Pat Riggin. Picked up by Duchesne. Checked by Dwayne Sutter, but Langway was right there to help out. Now Murphy takes control of it. Doring steps into him. Langway helps out. Fed it ahead for Curry. Across to Gould. Bob Gould at center ice. Shot it high. Smith flagged it out of the air and left it for Persson. The Caps in the middle of the player change as Persson gave it to Boudelier. Up the boards, just out of the reach of Gillies. Christian runs into a check from Dwayne Sutter, and here's Gillies with the puck. Clark Gillies at center ice. Unable to get it to Dwayne Sutter, who had been bumped. Leach over to Stevens. Got Stevens to Christian. Shoots it around the boards in the Islander zone. Smith cuts it off. Plays it to the corner for Flatley. Pat Flatley is one of the 4 Islander goals in the period. The others have gone to Goring, Trottier, and Bossy. And they put it right on Gustafson's stick, and he shot it high. Langevin. LaFontaine, then to Gillies. Gillies over center ice, dumps it into the cap zone. Stevens chasing it with Flatley. Stevens gets tied up in the corner, and the puck is shot off the glass to Janssen and bounced over his stick at the blue line. Thomas Janssen tied up by Christian. A race for the puck now. Gustafson and Flatley arrive at the same time. Gustafson gets away from the check, comes out in front, centering attempt, comes back to Stevens. Stevens raped on the boards by LaFontaine, and the puck has been cleared around the boards by Janssen. This is John Tonelli. Ringside for Janssen. Now back to Langevin. Langevin flips it in around Beach, goes in after it. Beach and Janssen battling for it. It's cleared back of the net. Tonelli centers. LaFontaine couldn't get a stick on it. Stevens feeds it out into center ice, and back comes Langevin. Dave Langevin to Ken Morrow. Just over 2 minutes left in the opening period. 4-2. The Islanders are leading the Washington Capitals. Bossy sends Tonelli in on left wing. John Tonelli trying to get around Beach. They go back of the net together. The puck cleared. Morrow at the right point. Lets it go, and that one bouncing off one of the Capitals. Tonelli knocks Beach flying. Beach comes out of the corner with it. Gave it to Lachlan. At center ice, Duchesne couldn't catch up with it, and Potvin and Bossy move it back and forth. Potvin up the left side to Trottier. Trottier shot it into the Capital zone. Murphy with it, back of the net, tries the left side for Duchesne. Now to Jarvis. Set it neatly to Murphy as he comes over center ice. Puts on the brakes inside the Islanders zone and dumped it around the board. Jarvis went in for it. Couldn't play it out in front of the net. Lachlan tries to golf it in front. Picked up by Trottier. Trottier failed to clear it out. Murphy sets up Jarvis, a backhander. Smith the save, and he covers up on top of it. A minute and 22 seconds left in this opening period.
A lot of unforced errors in the hockey game, Jiggs, at both ends of the ice. Washington now waltzing back into the Islanders' end. A couple of giveaways by the Islanders. Errant passes. They had lots of time. Many options. Skate with it. Make 2 or 3 different passes, but they lay soft passes out. Washington intercepted 2 of them. Got a couple of chances. Weak ones at that, but Billy Smith still called upon to make a stop. 11-10 now unofficially the shots here in the first period, and 1 minute and 22 seconds remaining.
Butch Goring and Brian Trottier out on the ice along with Bob Nystrom. The Islanders with 2 centers in case Trottier should be waved out of there. Jarvis is on the draw for Washington. He won the face-off, and the puck went to Sampson, centered it out in front. Out of the reach of Gartner. Langway pokes it off the boards. It's picked up by Persson. Now to Nystrom. Nystrom comes to center ice, bumped from behind, and stealing the puck is Sampson. He's back into the Islanders zone. Sampson couldn't set up Gartner. His shot towards the net was cut off by Persson. Minute to go in the opening period. Nystrom over on right wing. Hits it in across the line. Reagan, who replaced Al Jensen midway through the period, gave it to Langway. Now to Jarvis. Works it out into the center ice zone, and Billy Carroll slaps it right back again. Reagan had a little trouble handling the puck as he came from behind the net. Did the wise thing, smothered it, gets a face-off.
Some nonchalance, Jig. You see Reagan doing a kind of a dance. He kind of had the one hand on the stick, giving it like it was in practice, not in a Stanley Cup playoff game. Kind of took it too easy, ended up having to smother the puck. Not a good sign, I'm sure, for the coach. Both coaches have to have a fit at the end of this period when they're back in trying to think about what to say to the team. No intensity, no drive. Washington in the later stages of the first period have picked it up a little bit, but nothing that's going to really win a hockey game for them unless it's a whole lot more.
Langevin just drilled one from the blue line that deflected off some skates in front of the Washington goal, and here's Howarth working in around Langevin. Put it out in front. The shot from Sampson went off the left pad of Bill Smith. Recovered again. Beach from the blue line. Smith steers that aside. Wayne Sutter picks it up. Failed to clear it out. Stevens with a shot. Off the stick hand of Smith. Scooped it up off the boards. Gave it to Langevin, and his shot deflects up into the crowd with 10 seconds left. Yeah, you're right. A lot of not playoff-style hockey here in the first period on part of both teams.
When you see unforced errors, Jiggs, I'm sure that the players, I know for a fact, it's not the fact the players are trying to give up the puck. It just seems that things aren't clicking. Their mind is on something other than. I mean, it's on the hockey game. They must be worried about making mistakes. Generally, when you're worried about making a mistake, you'll make twice as many. And it seems that both teams seem to be in that category. Washington, on a few occasions, have coughed up the puck without being checked, and the Islanders have done it many times.
Now Beach shoots it in with 5 seconds left. Smith leaves it back to the net for Potvin, and that will do it for the opening period. The Islanders built a 3-0 lead, saw Washington get to within a goal thanks to a couple of power plays, and then opened it up again. At the end of one period, the score, Game 2 of the Patrick Division Finals, is the New York Islanders 4, the Washington Capitals 2. Back with a recap right after these messages.
At the end of one, the teams are on the ice, getting ready to start the second period. If your corporation needs travel, World Jet Charter can get you there. They have a team of professional pilots that are unequaled. Get you there in safety and comfort. World Jet Charter, area code 516-585-0600. They've got a fleet of corporate jets that are beautiful. They can take one person, 10 people, or as many as a 747 will hold. Get you there in style and in comfort. World Jet Charter. Call your favorite travel agency or 585-0600.
How about that? Washington could have Ronnie, but we'll keep Stanley. Okay.
I love it. Imagination.
I want to congratulate a lady who works in the commercial coordinating department. In fact, she is the commercial coordinator at SportsChannel, Vicki Renzelli. She's a grandmother now. Vicki, really? Yeah, Mary Ellen, her daughter, her husband, Jimmy, baby boy, Christopher.
But we won't tell anybody.
Oh, I guess we just told the world, though, didn't we? Congratulations, Grandma.
I'm sure she's very proud.
Second period gets underway with the puck cleared into the Washington zone to Pat Riggin. He left it for Rod Langway. Scoring, Gillies and Dwayne Sutter, the Islander forwards. That's Murphy, who just heard visit with Stan Fischler in the opening period intermission. Now to Langway, and it's relayed into the Islander zone off the stick of Duchesne. Potvin goes back for it. Up the right side to Dwayne Sutter. Couldn't get it to Goring as Langway cut across. Langway to Beach. Moves it up right wing. Carpenter lost it momentarily, then was checked in the second opportunity. And here's Gillies, but the offside pass will result in a face-off just inside the New York Islander blue line.
Jiggs, we're doing a little watch. Rod Langway in the first period was on the ice for 11 shifts, totaling 11 minutes and 3 seconds. He was not on the ice for any of the goals in the period. How about that? Islanders get 4 goals. He's not on for any of them. And he's on the ice 11 shifts. I remember lots of players would complain, saying that they got, 5 shifts, and that might have been a whole lot. 11 shifts he had in that period.
That may be one of the keys in the series as it goes on. See how much Langway can hold up to this amount of work. Trottier ties up Carpenter in the draw. They both ended up on the ice, and the puck went back to Janssen. Bossy on right wing. Pass intercepted, and Curry shoots it into the Islander zone. Bossy just took the feet out from under Curry and got away with it. Langevin on the right side. Now Janssen moves it to the left wing. It's deflected into the Washington zone. It's being called back. Little pushing and shoving. Stevens and Trottier exchanging words at close range. Curry and Bossy talking it over. And still they don't separate cleanly. I don't know if the referee saw that or not, folks. You got a pretty good look at it.
I didn't see it, Jiggs. What was it?
Little punch.
Who threw it? The linesman?
Oh, it's number 3, Mr. Stevens, who has lost a little bit of his cool at the moment.
Who'd he punch?
Guy in a white shirt.
Oh, really? Did he deserve it? Stevens thought so.
We are going to get some... Are we? No, apparently not. No penalties, just a face-off back in the Islander end. We'll take a break in the action. The score, the New York Islanders.
Watching the game in the dressing room, I don't want to listen to Jiggs McDonald, Ed Westfall anymore. I've had 3 hot dogs, 4 Cokes. I'm coming out here for some fresh air. I got the best seat in the house, and I don't have to pay for it. There's Kelly Rudy sitting on the end of the bench. Where did Roland Melanson go? Well, he probably wanted to go in and have a good look at the game on TV and listen to you and I, Jiggs. Nobody can take any more than a period of it anyway, I'm told.
Rod Langway, the Washington captain, has relayed the information to Brian Murray at the Washington bench that the Islanders have another goaltender dressed. Didn't used to be legal. It is now. Potvin clearing the puck out of his own zone following the face-off. Murphy gave it to Duchesne, dumps it around the boards, and Potvin will go back. Will Smith left it there for the Islander captain to the right side to Flatley. Long pass out of the reach of Tonelli. Murphy hustles back. Gave it to Langway. Flatley comes into forecheck. Ran into Langway, and Tonelli picks up the puck. It's sandwiched between Gartner and Murphy. Flatley steps into Murphy, and the puck slid right through the goal crease. Riggin didn't make a move on it. Here's Gartner. Mike Gartner shoots it into the corner. The right of Bill Smith. Christian went in, gets tied up with Morrow, and here's Pat Flatley. Down behind the net for Potvin. Potvin is checked back to the goal. Flatley had it in his skates. It's picked up now by Potvin. He dumps it to the center ice zone. Murphy waits for the Capitals to get back on side. Gave it to Gustafson, who's without a helmet.
They're trying to discourage Gustafson, Jiggs. They're roughing him up a little bit. That's the reason he doesn't have the helmet on at this point.
Now Tonelli chopping at the puck. It's loose at the Washington line. Controlled by LaFontaine. Tried to step inside Murphy. The pass across is offside. The Islander bench protesting, but Ron Finn showed them exactly where the puck was and wasn't.
Good observation, Jiggs. Stick handling, Pat LaFontaine. He was just at the blue line. Let's take a look. Make up your own mind. There's Finn right behind him. There, one stick handle. Here he brings the puck. You see that? It just come out across the blue line. Any part of the puck coming out into the center ice area. Across the blue line after he'd taken it in. Brings it offside. He's got players trapped in there. Pat LaFontaine stick handling along the blue line.
Now Goring is at center ice. Wins the faceoff for Persson, and he shot it in around the boards. Riggin has faced only one shot since replacing Al Jensen in the first period. Beach unable to come out of the corner. Dwayne Sutter with it back of the net. A wrap around. It's loose. Gillies gets knocked down. Goring's shot was blocked by Scott Stevens. It's in his equipment somewhere, and there's no further play.
Jiggs, if you think the Islanders' 4 goals in the first period was a career high for them, wrong. 3 times they've scored 5 goals in one period. Against Los Angeles, April the 8th, 1980. Against Toronto, April the 11th, 1981. And against the Boston Bruins, May the 3rd, 1983. 5 goals in one period.
All right. Yeah, there have been wild playoff games. This one hasn't come to that stature yet, but there have been 6 goals scored in the first period tonight. Goring will take the face-off against Curry. Dwayne Sutter to the right, Gillies to the left. Curry gets waved out of the face-off area. Duchesne moves in. The draw comes back to Boudelier. It got away from him. Stevens moves up quickly to forecheck. Boudelier across to Persson to Dwayne Sutter. Is checked by Curry. And Duchesne fires it right back into the Islander end. This is Paul Boudelier. To Persson around the boards. Boudelier had to skip a rope. Caps able to keep it in play in the Islander end. Duchesne knocked Boudelier down. The puck came out in front and cleared by Persson. To Gillies. Slaps it into the center ice area. Stevens back on the Washington defense. Gave it to Curry. It was checked. Persson trying to clear it out of there. Could not. The Caps get control of it. Curry to Duchesne in front to Shand, and he couldn't handle the pass. And now play is called. Stevens and Dwayne Sutter had a little war going on away from the play. Dwayne Sutter is ticketed for the box. So is Stevens. They're getting to Scott Stevens. He was very calm and cool in the Philadelphia series, but the Islanders are getting him rattled. There's a break in the action. The score, the Islanders 4, the Capitals 2.
Stevens, mad, angry. Ron Finn, the linesman. He's mad, he's angry. He held back. Stevens was giving him a hard time. He actually gave the linesman a little bit of a push. Stevens best keep his cool. He's played pretty good. Although defensively he's had a few problems, Jake. They've been getting around a little bit, finding himself out of position. But so have a lot of players on both teams.
That has to be frustrating him too, and now he's paying the price for it. Jarvis with a pass up the right side. Carpenter into the Islanders zone. Turned and shot it off the stick and up into the seats.
Let's take a look at the SportsChannel out-of-town scoreboard. The other playoff games going on around the league. Montreal leading Quebec 1-0 in the second period. That game at the Coliseum in Quebec. St. Louis and Minnesota, first period score. No score at all, 0-0.
Later tonight, Calgary at Edmonton in Game 2 of that series for the Spice Division title. Johnson played the puck to Billy Carroll. Now to Janssen. Over to Langevin. Langevin turns. Carpenter comes up to forecheck. Pass across to Thomas Janssen. Draws a couple of Capitals toward him, then cleared it, and is going to go the length of the ice. The result here will be an icing call with a face-off coming deep in the Islanders zone. I want to welcome officially a couple of more new Islander fans. Steve and Lynn Trencoli became the parents this week of the baby girl, Angela. Big Islander fans. What have you got for us, Eddie?
Who's off to a big start in the American and National Leagues? Find out in this week's Pennant Chase. Join host Fran Healy for baseball facts, figures, and fun as he looks at baseball's division leaders and most intriguing stories. That's Pennant Chase tomorrow afternoon at 2:15. Tomorrow afternoon at 2:15 before the Mets-Cubs game on SportsChannel.
Well, they lose a game and they're no longer Mets. Huh?
Says 2:45 on the screen. We'll have to go with what's on the screen. 2:45 is correct, we're told, so the promo I've been fumbling through is not. It's 2:45, not 2:15. 2:45.
15:48 left to play in the second period. Gerson just let the puck slip off his stick right to Gustafson. Back to Langway, and he shot it wide. Comes to the right side. There's Veach with a rip. That one's way wide of the net. Bounces off the boards and all the way back into the Washington zone.
Jiggs, I've talked about unforced errors. If somebody wants a good example, one right there, as Stephon Pearson handed the puck away.
Bossy unable to bring it out of the corner. Trottier laid quite a hit on Rod Langway. And in the center ice area, penalty call coming. Trottier taking the feet out from under Gartner.
The word is out, get more aggressive. That's the word out of the Islanders dressing room by the action of Brian Trottier. Took a run at Langway. Langway got out of the way just in time, but then he draws a penalty in the center ice area. Gartner hands it off. Carpenter stops. Look at the stranglehold that Trottier puts on Gartner, drags him down. Gets a penalty for holding at 4:40. So the Washington Capitals, who have 2 power play goals in this hockey game in the first period, get another opportunity. They trail by 2, 15:20 remaining here in the second period. Washington, they've had 3 power play opportunities, Jiggs. They've had 3 shots on goal, and they've scored 2 goals.
Big chance here as they play 4 against 3, plus goaltenders. Goring, the only forward for the Islanders. Langevin and Pearson on defense. For the Capitals, they have Christian out there with Erickson, Carpenter, and the lone defenseman is Murphy, and he's across the Islander line with the puck. Larry Murphy over to Christian, back to Murphy. Murphy to Gartner, lets it go and missed the target. Comes around the boards and out into the center ice zone and will be picked up by Murphy.
Big problem with missing the net in a situation like that. Gardner ripped it. Went right around the boards out into center ice.
Here's Murphy trying to sneak in along the left wing boards. Was checked and Goring slaps it down the ice. Wayne Sutter is out of the penalty box along with Stevens, and Sutter in a heavy collision on the far boards. He slowed up Carpenter momentarily. Now Carpenter gets over the line with a pass to Murphy. Murphy moving it on goal is checked by Pearson. The puck comes back to the point to Stevens. Scott Stevens moves into the corner. Tried to come out in front, got it on the goal mouth, and Smith, who made the save, covers up on the puck. 1 minute, 5 seconds left now on Trottier's holding penalty.
That Carpenter is strong on his skates, Jiggs. What a collision between he and Dwayne Sutter right in front of the Islander bench. Here's Sutter. There's Carpenter. Carpenter missed the shot. And look at this. Just like a couple of bulls. Wham! What a tremendous blow. Down goes Dwayne Sutter. The fact that Carpenter is still on his feet, pretty good. Carpenter stood there with his legs apart. He saw Sutter at the last moment. The word is out. Start to hit. Now you see Dwayne Sutter, like Brian Trottier, trying to hit everything that moves.
Bob Bourne not in the Islander lineup tonight, nor is Brent Sutter. Anders Kaller and Billy Carroll in the roster tonight. Melanson is out on the bench. Long shot, blocks fifth, another save, and the rebound off Gustafson, and Goring comes off with the puck. Got it off the boards. Picked up by Stevens inside the Washington zone. Out it goes to Jarvis on left wing. Lost it, recovers, comes over the line, dropped it to Gustafson. He was checked by Billy Carroll, and Potvin in front of the Islander net banks it into the center ice zone. Carroll chasing it. They won't have a chance to get there. Riggin is forced to play the puck around to the far side. Gustafson picks it up. 30 seconds remaining in the Washington power play. Gustafson knocked down at center ice. Picks up the puck again, steps across the line, played it to the right side to Jarvis. Back to the point. This is Stevens. Lets it go. He scores!
What a tremendous blast by Scott Stevens. The penalty, 19 seconds still remaining on Trottier's holding penalty, and Scott Stevens has ripped a tremendous drive over the catching glove of Billy Smith. Washington floundering. They didn't have good possession of the puck at any time until now. Beautiful backhand pass by Jarvis. Stevens from the top of the circles, about 35 feet, ripped it over the top of the catching mitt of Billy Smith. And the Washington Capitals have closed within one. Another look, Gustafson, as he makes it right wing side to Jarvis. Look at that beautiful pass. It's on the ice. It's flat. It's got just enough speed. Look at that tremendous drive. Just inside the right goal post, handcuffing Billy Smith and bringing the Capitals within one of the Islanders. It's 4-3 on Scott Stevens' first playoff goal.
Stevens has been in on every Washington goal tonight. He led the team in scoring, all with assists in the Philadelphia series. LaFontaine with a pass to Tonelli. It's 4-3. Islanders in front. Teams at 6 aside. Tonelli from back of the net. Unable to get it out in front. Langway clears it up left wing to Duchesne. Gaetan Duchesne fed it to Curry. He's across the line. LaFontaine got a piece of him. The pass across to Gould. Gould back to Langway from the blue line. His shot blocked in front of the net by Janssen. Held in by Gould, but it went right to LaFontaine, to Tonelli, and off his stick. Murphy dances back into his own zone. Played it up the right side. LaFontaine gets knocked down by Gould. Curry kicking the puck loose, and there's Langevin with it now. Janssen across to Flatley. Flatley takes a hit from Duchesne as he dumped it into the Washington end. A little less than 13 minutes to play in the second period. The Capitals fighting back to dump the puck into the center ice zone. Wide of Bill Smith, a race for it. Carpenter got there ahead of Janssen, so play continues. Here's Gardner centering one, intercepted by Trottier. Trottier nudges it over to Tonelli, comes in on left wing, trying to get around Blomqvist. Timo Blomqvist and Tonelli in a collision. Trottier battling for the puck, can't get to it. Stevens gives it to Carpenter. Carpenter's pass intercepted. Bossy moved in, was checked at the last second as Blomqvist got up with him, and here's Gardner on right wing. Gardner in the Islanders zone, shot it wide of the net. Blomqvist trying to put it out in front. It's picked up now. Carpenter left it at the side of the net in a centering attempt, and Smith covers up. Now sticks come up. All Boudelier and Carpenter challenging one another. There's some penalties by all indications from referee Lewis. 12 minutes left in period 2. The score, the New York Islanders 4, the Washington Capitals.
Penalties to Paul Boudelier, and Carpenter right at the side of the net. Boudelier comes in, pushes. Carpenter pushes back, glove in the face, threatening. Yes, challenging. No one's going to back up. That's the way it has to be. If you're going to win, both teams want to win.
High-sticking penalties at the 8-minute mark. Teams at 5 aside. You see the battle scars on Boudelier there. You had a look at Stevens earlier. David Chan got ripped along the eyebrow last night when he went into the glass. So the teams at 5 aside. Bossy, Trottier, Persson, and Potvin for the Islanders. This is Persson. He's over the line. Gives it to Trottier. Goes in on left wing. Played it in front of Pat Riggin. It goes to Bossy. Back of the net now to Trottier. Trottier pokes it to the corner. Bossy stepped in front of Langway. Potvin is checked. Gardner breaks out on right wing. Gardner over the Islander line. Lets a shot fly, and it was grabbed. It was going wide of the net. Smith put the catching glove on it and held it for a face-off.
Carpenter showing some of his speed down the right wing side. He got a little bit of a jump, and away he went. He's got good speed. He's got a tremendous shot right here. Langway got tied up with Dennis Potvin, and there's the shot. It was rolling. He did not get a good piece of it. Billy Smith picked it off easily. You see Smith look in front of the net? That puck was wide of the net. There's no question. Bill Smith would never have taken his eyes off the puck if it had been on the net. He looked up to see who was coming down the middle of the ice while the puck was still in flight.
Now Gustafson comes in to take the face-off for Washington. Billy Carroll and Brian Trottier out there together for the Islanders. Laughlin is the other forward for Washington. Leon Stickle trying to get them squared around for this face-off. Does. Trottier pulled it back to Janssen. Out of the right side for Billy Carroll. Came off his stick right to Gustafson, and Smith had to make a good stop. Carroll seemed to lose it with the...
Changed his mind, Jiggs. Another unforced error by the Islanders. Close call. Billy Smith bailing them out again.
Here's Stevens on the left boards in his own zone. Gets tangled up with Billy Carroll, and Laughlin plays it off the Washington goal to Veach. Veach went down as Caller got a piece of him. Now Stevens has given the puck to Gustafson. That Gustafson with a pair of goals. Shot it in wide of the net. Helped around the boards by Laughlin. Annie Morrow and Janssen back on the Islander defense. Thomas Janssen checking out his options. Plays it across to Morrow. Then Morrow to Billy Carroll. Carroll check, picks it up again, then lost it. Here's Laughlin across the line with a shot. Smith the save, and back goes Thomas Johnson. 30 seconds left in the double penalties. Johnson and Morrow. Right out now. Morrow's pass out of the reach of Billy Carroll. Stevens picks it up. Takes a hit from Carroll, and Haworth picks up the puck. Haworth and Jarvis over the line. 3 men back. Haworth can't get through the defense. Jarvis and Caller collide. The puck is tied up in the boards, and play has been called.
The New York Mets are off to their best start ever, with a host of rising stars under new manager Davey Johnson. SportsChannel is proud to present our first exclusive Mets telecast for 1984, when the Mets take on the Chicago Cubs. Tomorrow afternoon at 3:15, live from Wrigley Field. SportsChannel, we've got New York Mets baseball covered.
The wind was blowing out at Chicago today, huh?
We won't just let that one ride. Now listen, you can't win. You can't win 160 games. You got to lose 1 or 2.
You know, Pat Brigham replaced Al Jensen back at the 13:39 mark of the first period, and the Islanders have had only 1 shot on goal since that time. Jensen was replaced when he gave up the 4th goal. Washington has come back to make it 4-2, and they're looking for the equalizer here. Pinelli took his man down. Murphy from the blue line. Potvin dove in front of that shot. The teams are at 6 aside again.
Fine defensive move, Jiggs, by Dennis Potvin. Murphy had a chance to move in. He opted to shoot it, and Potvin, like a goaltender, slid and made the save.
Teams are at 6 aside again. Langway picking up the puck for the Capitals. Gave it to Carpenter. Dropped it off on right wing. Alan Haworth lost it. Langway shoots it in across the Islander line, but Tonelli was there. Tonelli trying to move it up the boards. Picked off by Erickson. Brian Erickson, a slap shot off the stick of Potvin and way up into the seats. We have 9 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in period 2. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on SportsChannel. For a face-off just inside the Islanders zone, the Capitals won the draw, but the puck came out to center ice and picked up by Shan. Gave it to Jarvis, who backhands it in wide. Chasing it is Boudelier. 2 men on top of him in a hurry. Morrow picked up the puck. Capitals now sending 2 men in each time they've dumped the puck in. Out at center ice, Laughlin. It's over the Islander line, lost it. Erickson in after it. Back to the blue line on the right side. There's Blomqvist with a shot. Grabbed by Smith, and he has held it long enough for a face-off.
He had a good look at it. He picked it off. Blomqvist got it away pretty good. He had to hurry the shot. He got it up high. Billy Smith, not too much trouble. Look at the control of the puck now, though, as Washington start to take the play a little more away from the Islanders. There's the shot. Good coverage off to the right of the left of Billy Smith. Paul Boudelier takes the forward away. Laughlin, as he looks for a rebound.
2 teams take a little time separating and heading for the respective benches on player changes. Gives us a chance to welcome another new Islander fan, Kevin Joseph Farrell. His grandma sits right up behind us here. Nice lady, season ticket holder with the Islanders. Irene Farrell is Kevin. Welcomed in early April.
Lots of Islander fans. Run into Greg Brucey the other night and said, you know, my wife lives and dies throughout the playoffs and all season long with the Islanders. Sandy never misses a period, never misses any part of the Islander game.
All right.
Return, say hello.
Now the Islanders are leading the Capitals by 1 goal. They led by 3 at one point in the first period. They're up 4-2, and the Caps steadily putting on pressure. Dwayne Sutter with the puck. Across to Langevin, now to Johnson. Thomas Johnson moved it off the boards, but couldn't get it out of there. Duchesne forces them back. Ryan Trottier took it from Smith, gave it to Dwayne Sutter. The forechecking of the Capitals, forcing the Islanders. Now Trottier sends Langevin into center ice. Dave Langevin slaps it wide of Pat Brigham. Scott Stevens coming back. Lost the puck, but offside. Now the whistle over on the far side, apparently. Trottier and Gould in a little scuffle, and now something else breaks out as Dwayne Sutter and Duchesne exchange words, and Stevens comes in for the Capitals. He and Sutter each served penalties for a high sticking earlier in this period.
Sutter and Trottier both, Jiggs. We talked about the fact that they're a little aggressive. Not a little, they've come out, played a whole different kind of period this second period. They've been much more aggressive. Scott Stevens trying to answer for his Washington Capitals. A break in the action here with the Islanders 4, the Capitals 3. Will return in just a moment.
Potvin playing the puck to Persson to Goring. Butch Goring carries it back into his own zone, rounds the net, trying to drop it off for Potvin, and it was knocked away by Gartner. Loose puck for Murphy. Murphy went to the backhand, gave it to Langway. His shot is blocked by Smith, and he'll hold on to it.
Something the Washington Capitals are doing very well right now, Jiggs. They're not giving up the puck in tight situations. That time, Butch Goring trying to take charge, trying to get things going for his Islanders. Check from behind. Gardner in quickly. Christian in quickly. And then Murphy ended up with the puck. Murphy had the puck in heavy traffic. He hung on to it, made a couple of good moves, and finally passed it to Langway, and it was his shot that Billy Smith hung on to and stopped the play easily. Murphy could have panicked a little bit with two Islanders rushing him right at the blue line and just dumped it wildly in. Washington did not like to give up the puck easily.
Oh my, Gartner and a slap at it right from the face-off as the puck bounced around in the Islander end, and Bill Smith came up big.
20 shots now for the Washington Capitals, Jiggs, and only 11 for the Islanders. Let's take a look at the face-off. There it is, Butch Goring and Carpenter. Dennis Potvin has trouble controlling the puck. Carpenter knocked it loose. Look at the opportunity. Billy Smith took it away right off the stick of Mike Gartner.
The Islander captain hearing it from the crowd as he goes back to the bench on a player change. Langevin and Janssen up. LaFontaine and Goring. At LaFontaine has cleared it into center ice. It bounced over Langway's stick. He recovers the puck. Right into the blue line. It went off Gartner. LaFontaine trying to step in around Langway. Gillies lost his balance, and Murphy has played it across to the right side. It's fed up to Langway. Langway to Gartner, who missed it. It's going wide of the Islander net. Icing waved off. Thomas Johnson from back of the net. Left side for Langevin. Smith felt he'd been interfered with in the goal crease and is yelling at the referee. In the meantime, Gillies with a shot that Riggin steered to the corner. Barry Murphy starting out for Washington. Comes over center ice into the Islanders zone. Held on to the puck at the blue line. Puts it in along the boards. Gartner trying to center. Murphy, or Gustafson rather, comes to the left side. Gave it to Langway. Langevin went down early. Langway couldn't get the shot. Now Langway's drive, and that went wide of the net. Murphy at the right side. Murphy bumped by Gillies. LaFontaine unable to get a stick on it. Langevin does, and poked it back of the net where Janssen picked it up. Johnson dumps it out into center ice. Stevens comes back. 10 seconds left in those double penalties. Howarth checked as he got to the Islander line. Now Gustafson gave it right back to Howarth. Lets the slap shot go. Smith, the stick hand save. Gustafson in after the rebound. Is chased to the corner, and Bossy picks up the puck. Bossy to Gilbert. Greg Gilbert's pass deflected at the blue line. There's a delayed penalty call in effect against Washington as the puck is knocked out of the air by Gould. Play is called.
Howarth is going to the penalty box for interference, Jiggs. He pulled Bossy down from behind. A break in the action. The Islanders 4, the Capitals 3 will return right after these messages. To Howarth. Interference on Mike Bossy. Down at the other end of the ice, Billy Smith. Watch in front of the net. Watch the end of Billy Smith. Right here, Carpenter goes around. Smith takes a little jump trying to draw a penalty on Carpenter. The Islanders are on a power play.
Howarth for interference at 13:52. The Islanders without a shot on goal in this period. And the Capitals have just cleared it down the ice. Smith comes out of the net to meet it. Couldn't play it away from Duchesne, who put it out in front, but Trottier coming back picked that off. Was headed to Bossy. Bossy shot it in around the boards. Riggin lays it back to the net. Veach slaps it to the left wing. It hit Potvin, and now is cleared by Veach. Picked up by Jarvis at center ice. Working on Persson as he crossed the line. Jarvis taken into the end boards by Persson's check. Bossy starts out with the puck. Mike Bossy feeds Gilbert on left wing. He's into the Washington zone. Centered one, picked off and cleared by Stevens. And Persson hustles back. 50 seconds gone in the Islander power play. And the fans here at the Coliseum not happy with what they're watching. Potvin feeds Bossy. Out of LaFontaine. He's into the Washington zone. Gave it to John Tonelli. Tonelli centers. There's Bossy in the backhand. Good stop by Riggin and no rebound.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The fans, a sarcastic cheer as the Islanders get their first shot on goal in this period. And there are only 5 minutes and 1 second left. Comes on a power play with John Tonelli in possession of the puck. He opts to give it to Mike Bossy. Bossy goes to the backhand. Good position. There it is. Easy stop for Pat Riggin off the backhand of Mike Bossy.
Now 53 seconds left in the penalty time against Haworth. Johnson goes to the left side. Pearson to the right side on the Islander defense. LaFontaine, Bossy, and Tonelli the forwards. Story on John Tonelli in last year's series with Washington. LaFontaine against Jarvis. Goes to the corner to pick up the puck. Gave it to Bossy. It's knocked away from him. Held in by Johnson. Got it off LaFontaine and right to Riggin, who scooped it up outside the goal post.
Hesitation by the Islanders, Jiggs. They're not sure of themselves. They're not playing with the kind of confidence that gained them the first 4 Stanley Cups or the win against the New York Rangers. You see even Mike Bossy there hesitate a little bit. Checked by Langway from behind, and then the puck was tied up and held by Riggin.
Right from the draw, Curry stepped in to break up the pass from LaFontaine and now brings it into the Islanders' zone. Johnson took him out of the boards, and Bossy handles the puck. Mike Bossy into the center ice zone. Across the Washington line, still has it. Bossy tried to feed it to the point, and Jarvis just stepped in front. But Jarvis forces the Islanders back. Time running out of this power play attempt. They've had 1 shot on goal, and that's been it for the period. Here's Thomas Johnson up the left side for Tonelli. Tonelli trying to come in around Murphy. Cuts it on goal. Couldn't stop it by Pat Riggin. The Cats cleared up the left wing. Morrow moves over. Couldn't get to it. Here's Duchesne. Has a break with Carpenter. Duchesne drives. Smith the save. And again he covers up. Poor play. Poor selection by Duchesne. He winds up and lets a slap shot go from about 25 to 30 feet. They had a 3-on-1 break. The Washington Capitals looking for the tying goal. Duchesne has the opportunity. He let fly from well out. Not only did he shoot it long, look at the coach. Look at Brian Murray. Give him hell. He should give him hell. That's a poor selection of play. Here comes Duchesne. He hasn't done that much in the hockey game. Look where he shot from. I hope the camera picks up. There's Dennis Potvin watching. Just in the corner of your screen, there's Murphy, and on the other side is Bobby Carpenter. They had a 3-on-1 break, and he shot it from 30 feet. And a poor shot at that. No rebound. Yeah, he got it up for Smith to handle, all right. Potvin to Goring, and he's cleared it out and down into the Washington zone. It rolls on edge. Stevens comes back. The Islanders 4, the Capitals 3. Scott Stevens dumps it into the center ice zone. The team's at 6 aside, by the way. Ray Laughlin chased to the boards by Potvin's check, and Clark Gillies dumps it around behind the net for Dwayne Sutter. Sutter on right wing, gave it to Goring. Goring fires it into the Washington zone. Riggin handled it as it came off the boards. Gillies forechecking. Now it comes to the left side. Sampson was too well covered, but Stevens has dumped it down into the Islanders zone. There will be no icing. They rule Potvin could have gone back and played it. Now he does with a pass to Dwayne Sutter. Sutter unable to get it to Goring. He elects to shoot it in. Riggin out of the net. Picked up by Murphy. Murphy, Christian carries it over the Islander line, comes in on left wing, made the play, tried to make the play in front, and that got broken up. There's Langevin with it. Dave Langevin sends Dwayne Sutter into the Washington zone. He was checked by Langway. Now Langevin ties up Langway. Sutter trying to poke the puck away, cannot, and the whistle has sounded. Sutter and Gustafson poking at one another. Langway right there for the Caps as well.
Left hook by Dwayne Sutter to the face of Gustafson. I wonder what the penalties will be. Signaling both, Jiggs. Both players are going.
That's the indication initially from referee Brian Lewis.
I'll tell you, if Gustafson gets a penalty, it'll be for receiving. He took a pretty good left hook from Dwayne Sutter.
Well, he waved both arms. And the penalty is only against Dwayne Sutter.
2 minutes and 49 seconds now remain in the second period. An opportunity here for the Washington Capitals. They've been coming closer as the game goes along, a little bit like last night. They're within 1 now of the Islanders. In a good position here with a power play goal. Dwayne Sutter in the penalty box for roughing. 3 Capital power play goals they've scored so far in this hockey game. Tie an Islander club record for power play goals against in a hockey game. Buffalo in 1980, Quebec in 82, and, the Rangers in 83.
So Sutter off for roughing. Play gets under the way in the Washington zone, and Langway gave it to Murphy. Billy Carroll is into forecheck. He and Caller up front. Puck has been dumped down the ice into the Washington zone, recovered by Rod Langway. Langway into the corner. Murphy missed it. Now Billy Carroll comes over. Murphy played it up the wing. Howard gave it back to Langway, then to Murphy. Murphy over center ice. Shoveled it in across the line, and Langevin banks one off the boards and out into center ice. Rod Langway back to the Islander zone. Went to the right side for Howard. Centering attempt. Third back of the net. Carroll gets bumped. Came to the right side. There's Langway to Murphy. Murphy to Howard. Back to Murphy. Murphy fired one. Smith made the pad save, and Johnson picked up the rebound and has cleared it down into the Capitals' end of the ice.
Looked like an awkward save, Jiggs, but it was the only play Billy Smith could make to make sure he got the puck and didn't give the rebound to Washington.
Here's Howard moving in with Christian. Plays it to the right side for Veach. Lets the shot fly, and that was wide of the net. Comes bouncing off the boards out into the center ice zone. Gustafson got back in time, then collided with Stevens. Goring gets a piece of Christian as he chased the puck. Got Stevens to Gustafson. Gustafson over the Islander line. Then Gustafson dropped it off. Christian back to Gustafson. He was knocked down by Goring. Christian goes back to the net. Potvin checked him and has cleared the puck. 25 seconds remaining in the penalty against Wayne Sutter. Just over a minute to play in the second period. Tonelli upended by Stevens in his pursuit of the puck. Went into the boards. The puck still loose. Stevens drags Tonelli down and tackled him. Play goes on. Beach is over center ice. Into the Islander zone with a shot that hit Potvin and comes bouncing out into the center ice area. Now play is called. Got an injured Washington Capitals.
His lefty, Darren Beach, is down on the ice, Jiggs. He's in pain. That would be a big loss for the Washington Capitals. He went down funny, clutching to the left knee. Never a good sign when an athlete goes down awkwardly and clutches to the knee. Obviously in pain. Something on the Islander bench that was not seen by most. I happen to be looking over there. Jimmy Pickard was waving the towel at the referee Lewis for his non-call against John Tonelli. And in waving the towel, he hit into the face with the end of the towel Greg Gilbert. Looks like he might have caught him in the eye with the snap of the towel as we look at Beach heading for the Washington Capitals dressing room. We'll hope that that's not a serious injury. What a factor he could be in this series, not being in the lineup for the Washington Capitol. Let's take a look at the Sports Channel out of town playoff scoreboard. Montreal still leads Quebec 1-0. That's in the third period. St. Louis and Minnesota, second period, no score again tonight. Close games, both of them.
The only other series, Calgary and Edmonton. Edmonton won game one by a 5-2 score. Gretzky had 2 goals and 2 assists. Dick Young, the trainer of the Washington Capitals, has helped Aaron Beach to their dressing room with 52 seconds left in period 2. The puck blocked by Gilbert right at the Islander line, and Dwayne Sutter is back out after serving his roughing penalty. Ersan picks it up inside his own zone. Take a look at the clock. Drops the puck back to Potvin. Gould in forechecking. Potvin around to Trottier. Off the boards, out into the center ice area, and recovered by Scott Stevens. Out of Blomqvist into center ice. Potvin stole it. Shot it into the Washington territory. Gilbert comes in to forecheck. Got it to Trottier. The Bossy circles the net with it. Bossy chased to the corner by Curry. The puck comes loose. Gilbert trying to get his stick away from Duchesne. Couldn't get there in time, and it's cleared by Stevens. Ends up deep in the Islander zone. Langevin will go back and touched it just as the horn sounded. I think there was 1 second left on the clock. They are apparently, well, the referee indicated that he was going to have a face-off, but apparently not so. The two teams headed for the dressing room. That's the end of the second period. Washington gets the only goal in the score. New York Islanders 4, the Washington Capitals 3. Blue line. We're 14 seconds into the final period. The Islanders lead by a score of 4-3 as you look at Dave Christian heading back to the Washington bench.
1 point in all 4 playoff games this season so far. Davey Christian, remember, 1980 U.S. Olympic team. He was a second-round pick, 40th overall in '79 by Winnipeg.
Winnipeg traded him to Washington for the Capitals' first-round draft pick last summer in the entry draft. Langevin starting out in the Islander defense, slaps it in right to Reagan, who grabbed it, dropped it off for Langway, up the left side, stolen by LaFontaine, goes back to the net with it, comes out in front, tested Reagan, it's on the doorstep and cleared wide. This is Pat Flatley. Bumped in the corner, still managed to hold on to the puck, dropped it off for LaFontaine, couldn't center it. Langway failed to clear it out. Langevin pinches in off the point, but the Capitals get control of it and set it ahead for Christian. He's over the line working on Janssen. Puck went off Janssen's stick and it's recovered now by Langevin. Up the right side, the pass out of the reach of Flatley. There's Gartner. Gartner over the Islander line, faked the slap shot, lost the puck. Langevin gives it to Trottier. Trottier moves into the Washington zone. The Capitals change very well with the bench right at their blue line this period. The puck comes back to Potvin from the point, and his shot was blocked in front. There's on with it at the right side. Into Gilbert. Then knocked away and down into the Islander zone and right to Bill Smith.
Islanders start with a pretty good flurry, Jig. For them, they'll have to keep it up if they're going to win the hockey game.
There's Persson over center ice. Got it in wide of Reagan. Big rebound. Bossy goes in after it. A backhander. Reagan has it on his right pad and holds on.
Smart move by Pat Reagan as Bossy gets in behind the Washington Capital defense. Gets the play away. Kind of a swinging around. Backhand shot. There's the shot by Langevin, just wide of Reagan. Here comes Bossy as he gets in behind Timo Blomqvist, number 17. Look at the play by Bossy. Keeps the puck on the net. Smart move by Reagan as he drops the pad down, guessing that Bossy's going to give it a backhand wrap. He guessed right and came up with the puck. There's Bossy. Got speed. Always did have good speed. And there's his shot, backhand shot, that Reagan outguessed him on.
Now Goring in for the face-off. The puck came loose. Banked off the glass and down into the Islander zone by Lachlan. Morrow chases it. Gets there in time, and we have an icing against the Washington Capitals.
You know why Roland Melanson was replaced by Kelly Rudy?
No, I was wondering about that, Eddie.
He was hit with a stick sitting along the bench. He got clipped in the lip along the side of the mouth in the first period and felt woozy. So they decided to replace him with Kelly Rudy.
Just scanning the Washington bench a moment ago, and Darren Beach did not return for this third period. Boudelier played it off the boards. Gillies and Jarvis tie it up, and there's no further play. Game 3 of the series in Washington on Sunday night at 7. Game 4 is in Washington on Monday night at 7:30. If a 5th game is necessary, it will be played here at the Nassau Coliseum next Wednesday night. We will have it for you on SportsChannel.
Give me an opportunity, Jiggs. Again, the off-ice officials from the Philadelphia Flyers. Official scorer, Bill Sieberlich. Game timekeeper, John Moorer. Penalty timekeeper, John Schwering. Goal judges, Bud Powell, and again, George Jiggs Torchiana.
We've got Tom Coyle working tonight, too, as one of the off-ice officials from Philadelphia. The puck jumped into the Islanders' zone, picked up by Langevin. Now to Janssen. Janssen to Gilbert. Off his stick. It'll go wide of Reagan, who cuts it off. Picked up now by Langway. Down to Murphy. Up the left wing side. Langway took a good hit after making the play, and Duchesne dumps the puck into the Islanders' zone. Coming back for it is Langevin. Moves up the left wing boards. Across it goes to Dwayne Sutter. Sutter knocks it in across the line off Erickson. It comes out to center ice. Carpenter over the Islander line with a drop pass. Haworth a shot. That hit Langevin and goes to the corner. Butch Goring gave it to Sutter. Wayne Sutter across to the left side. Langevin slaps it into the center ice zone. The Capitals could have played it, so Stevens picks it up back to the Caps goal. 3 minutes gone here in the final period. Haworth over center ice. Over the Islanders zone, Potvin chases into the corner, knocked him down, the puck beneath Alan Haworth, and Potvin falls over top of him, and there's no further play. A break in the action, period 3, with the Islanders leading the Capitals 4-3.
Islanders, Jiggs, have allowed only 3 hat tricks in playoff competition. Rick McLeish, 75, Philadelphia. Gil Perreault, 80 of Buffalo. And Paul Holmgren of Philadelphia in 1980.
Well, there's a threat tonight. Gustafson has 2 of the Washington's goals. The Islanders have just cleared the puck in off Pat Brigham. Chasing it is Stevens. He has the other Washington marker tonight. On pass by Gustafson. Over the line comes Gartner on right wing, trying to cut in. Potvin chased him wide. Gartner unable to center as Persson cut it off. It's underneath the Islander defenseman, and there's no further play.
Hustle by Mike Gardner. He's got speed. He's got strength. Tries to get outside. Dennis Potvin made him go wide enough to go behind the net. There's the battle between Potvin and Gardner. Potvin got a hold of his arms just in time. Then Gardner, when he tried to put it out, stepped on Persson. Smartly slid in and took the pass away from Gardner.
Bobby Nystrom coming out for the Islanders.
Has not had a lot of ice time, Jiggs. I can only remember maybe 2 or 3 shifts that Bob Nystrom has been on the ice in the hockey game. I know his wrist has been bothering him. He played the Ranger series, or at least 2 of the Ranger games, with painkiller in the wrist. They'll only do that if there's no chance he'll re-injure it.
Gartner's shot was blocked by Jarvis, and he was unable to tee it up. Trottier fed it across to Nystrom. Nystrom checked right at the blue line. Sampson centered one just behind Doug Jarvis. Trottier gets the stick up on Laughlin, and there'll be a penalty to Brian Trottier.
Frustration, Jiggs. Frustration is taking over.
Laughlin took a poke at Trottier as he started away from him. Nystrom came over very quickly, and we have a little pushing and shoving along the boards, a scuffle in the Islander end. Trottier is getting the gate. There's a break in the action here as you look at Craig Laughlin, and our score is the Islanders 4, the Capitals 3.
Trottier, look at the arm, left arm, wham! There's the arm, right? No question about it. Referee Lewis, a holding penalty. Trottier's mad. There, right there. He should have got another one for roughing. Me? You can't give me a penalty for that. Guess what? He's got one. Washington's on a power play.
They've made it work 3 times. There's Stevens with a bullet that was grabbed by Smith. Scott Stevens playing the left point. Murphy on the right point.
The kind of a shot, Jiggs, that you want to have from the point. Billy Smith knew it, but he had the catching mitt. He had it low. He had it down near the ice. And the low shot by Stevens, a crisp one, picked off and held by Smith. You can see him now, Billy Smith, working away on his mitt. Sometimes that'll happen. Shot, good hard shot like that, might move the webbing around a little bit. Smith wants to make sure all the pieces are in place.
Billy Carroll and Butch Goring on the face-off. It's Goring clearing it back to the net. Smith up to the right side for Carroll. Billy Carroll banks it off the boards in his own zone. It's picked off by Carpenter. Bobby Carpenter trying to get it to the point. Played it to the corner instead. Laughlin centered, and it got away from the net over on the far side. Now they are unable to make the play, and Goring has dumped it down the ice. And Laughlin and...
Poor play, Jiggs, by Washington. They had control of the puck, and they coughed it up between Scott Stevens and Laughlin.
Now Laughlin plays it to the left side on Murphy's stick. It's picked up by Haworth. Gets in across the line, then was checked. Johnson trying to clear it out. The referee got tangled up along with Johnson. Gilbert is upended, and there'll be a penalty against the Washington Capitals, and Stevens is really upset.
Stevens should not argue with the referee, Jiggs, because he's poised, ready to give a player another penalty. Carpenter quickly gets over to Stevens and tells him, take the play and go into the box. Take your body and go. Right there, Scott Stevens sticking out his left leg, knocking Gilbert down. He deserved the penalty. Should not delay going to the box. It only irritates the referee. And at that point, you don't want to make him any madder than he is.
4:46 will be the time of the penalty to Stevens.
Washington have done that a couple of times tonight. They've nullified their own power plays, getting penalties in behind the Islanders while on a power play. Stevens, thinking that Gilbert may race away on a breakaway, stuck the left leg out and pulled him down. Brian Murray, look at the instructions he's giving down at the end of the bench. Working up and down the bench, talking to the players as he goes. Scott Stevens in the box for tripping, so the teams are at even strength. 4 skaters apiece.
Third penalty of the night against Stevens. So we watch Langway making the play. The pass to Gartner. Gartner over center into the Islanders zone, working on Morrow. Went to the backhand that bounced off Smith. Plays loose and now picked up by Caller. Caller down the right wing. Carroll trailing, got turned around. Caller trying to work his way around the defensive work of Langway. Billy Carroll forechecking has poked the puck to the corner. Langway to Gustafson. Off his skate and rolls just inside the Islander blue line. Oh, Boudelier winds up. Boudelier handles his way to the Washington end. Trying to get in around Murphy. Does. Boudelier goes back to the net. Lost the puck there, and it comes out on this right side, controlled by Lachlan. Now into center ice to Christian, who's over the Islander line. Christian trying to cut in, is chased back in the net by Carroll. Christian recovers the puck. Headed to the point for Shan. To Christian. And he lost it as Carroll bumped him as they reached the Islander line. It shot in offside. Did not wait for Lachlan to get back onside. So we get the whistle. Let's check some scores. Eddie?
Let's go to Minnesota again, Jiggs, and see what's happening out there. We told you that it was 1-1 between the Minnesota North Stars and the St. Louis Blues. Here's the shot from the point. Levy in front of the net. It appears he's tipped it in behind Liut. It's 2-1 now, Minnesota. McAdam and Roberts assisting. 17-18 of the second period. 2-1, Minnesota. Willie Plett has scored 29 seconds later to make it 3-1 now for Minnesota as they widen their lead over St. Louis in the second period.
Billy Smith has a new catching glove. They just made an exchange at the Islander bench. Now Stefan Persson is relaying some information, and Jim Pickard, the equipment manager, is headed off. I think he has Kelly have a skate.
Kelly Rudy's catching mitt, maybe. He keeps looking over. Smith was signaling to the bench. Stefan Persson, ordered by referee Lewis, back to the faceoff.
You pointed out earlier about the webbing, that shot from Stevens. I don't imagine that it burned the webbing, but it was a sizzling shot. Now Trottier is out of the penalty box, and the Islanders with a 50-second power play. The pass to Bossy went off his skate. Persson recovered, drops it down into his own zone, and we'll pick it up there. The Islanders leading by 1 goal over Washington. Game 2 of the series. Bossy drops it for Potvin. Shot it in off the glass. Riggin left it back in the net for Duchesne. He slapped it around to the corner. Persson came in. Langway knocked it away from him. There's Trottier. Into the corner to Persson. Stefan Persson to Trottier. To the point for Gilly. Now to Potvin. Potvin backhanded one that was blocked by Jarvis and ends up in the Islanders' zone. Bill Smith out of the net. Jarvis right on top of him. Smith got it to Persson. Now to Mike Bossy. Bossy over the Washington line. Fed the pass outside the blue line. And Potvin gives it back to Trottier. Now to Bossy. Bossy across to Gilly. Stevens, who had just come out of the penalty box, blocked that play. Potvin shoots it back in offside. 13:07 left in the third period. A break in the action with the score. The Islanders 4, the Capitals 3.
A little more to his liking in a catching mitt. Probably his backup catching mitt. See the Velcro strap across the back. They like to have that nice and firm on their hand so those hot shots, when they catch them, it doesn't spin the glove around on their hand and deflect the puck into the net.
Puck just deflected there right into the catching glove at the other end of the ice. This one, Pat Riggins catching mitt.
Let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard again, Jiggs, and catch up to date. Montreal leading in the third period, 3-1 over the Quebec Nordiques. The Nordiques beat them last night. Montreal, they'll have to win a game in Quebec. There's Calgary and Edmonton. They're deadlocked at 1 apiece in the first period.
Al Arbor has sent Pat LaFontaine up to center ice. Pat Flatley is on right wing, and Anders Kaller is on the left side. Flatley picked up the puck after LaFontaine won the draw, but somebody was in the face-off circle too early. Still a lot of time to play. A little less than 13 minutes to go in this third period. Again, some jockeying going on, and now LaFontaine is waved out of the face-off. Flatley will take the draw for the Islanders. Haworth came in for the Caps. The puck went right out in front of the net, comes back to Lonzovan as the blue line is tucked through a screen, was deflected. LaFontaine back to Janssen. Backs it around the boards. Kaller picks it up behind the net. Anders Kaller twisting and turning to get away from Blomqvist. Gets checked. Janssen over at the right point. Into the corner to Flatley. Flatley back into Carpenter, and Eriksson picked up the puck and cleared it out to Haworth. Haworth comes in on right wing, blasts the shot off Langevin. That ends up in the seats. The Patrick division is on the line as the Islanders battle the Washington Capitals in their quest for their 5th straight Stanley Cup. The series is extended beyond 4 games.
Sports Channel will bring you exclusive coverage of Game 5 Wednesday night at 7:30. Sports Channel. We've got New York sports covered. Almost gagged on that one.
I was going to ask where you'd had dinner tonight.
No, I didn't. Jimmy Pickard there. He's back from the Islander dressing room. Report to Ron Waske. Got a pencil. I know he doesn't smoke. Or does he? Yes, he does. That's not a cigarette. That's a pencil, I'm sure.
12 and a half minutes remaining in the third period. This game has been unusual in many areas tonight, both the scoring and some strange things that have gone on. Murphy with a shot from the point. Smith puts the catching glove on top of it after making the original save, and they'll face off once more in the Islander zone. And a lot of hockey in a short period of time for the Islanders, and this is not meant as a commentary, but if it were the regular season, there is no way any general manager would accept a schedule of 5 games in 7 nights. Or by the time they finish games 3 and 4 in Washington on Sunday night, it'll be 7 games in 10 nights, and you know in the regular season that just wouldn't happen.
Difficult, Jiggs, when you think about it, but it's not different for any team. There's other teams that are doing the same thing because the dates are all the same. They're not changeable. You go to 5 games. In other words, if you're good enough to knock someone off in 3, you get a rest.
That's right. Rossi on the right side. It's into the Washington zone. Around Langway. Shoots. Good stop by Pat Regan. Rossi gobbled Langway up on that play. Pearson with a shot that changed direction. It's loose in front. Off the skate. They pile up and it ends up in the corner. Trache battling in front of the net. Pushing and shoving with Gartner. Rossi moves in. Runs over top of Langway and the puck has been cleared to center ice. Back comes Potvin. Great chance there. The best flurry the Islanders have had in a long time in front of that Washington goal. Bossy drops it to Pearson. Pearson feeds Potvin. He moves up the left side. But the Washington line was slowed up by Shan. Gilbert with the puck now. Banks it in off the boards. It came to the side of the net. David Shan goes back. It's knocked off his pin by LaFontaine. Gilbert sneaks in, trying to dig the puck loose. Does. Can't put it out in front of the net. He ran into the check from Christian. It's cleared now, and Gartner picks it up. Mike Gartner over at center ice. 3-on-3. Dropped it back to Shan, who couldn't make the play happen. Here's Greg Gilbert. Gilbert to Boudelier. Paul Boudelier to Kenny Morrow. Brought it in around the boards. Flatley races in on left wing. Had it in his skates. Bumped into Shan. And the puck goes to Stevens. Drops it off in the corner. Gould has dumped it into center ice. And here's Boudelier for the Islanders. It was knocked down by Shan. Picked up by Curry to Duchesne, and he forces the Islanders to chase it. It leaves it for Paul Boudelier. To the right side for Flatley. Rink wide. Keller had to reach back for it. Picks it up now. Got it into the Washington zone. Timo Blomqvist with it. Blomqvist off the board. Stolen by Flatley. Centered. It went behind LaFontaine, and out comes Curry. Curry is over the line. Looks on Morrow. Shot it toward the net. Smith the routine save. And Glenn Curry ends up in the corner. There's a break in the action now with 10 minutes and 25 seconds left in the third period. The Islanders leading the Capitals 4-3.
Down in Washington Capitals end of the ice. Look at the opportunity. Goring missed on a shot. He had a wide open net. Murphy battling at the side of the net. And finally the puck knocked away as Langway got in. Trache. Carpenter bang away at each other.
Now Langevin trying to clear the puck out of his own zone. Gave it to Carroll, then across to Johnson. Thomas Johnson into the Washington end. The shot was blocked, cleared right back, and now out into center ice and recovered by Gilbert. He gave it to Langevin. Had trouble picking it up. Langevin fires it into center ice. Blomqvist is back. It has not been a classic playoff game by any means, folks. The Islanders clinging to a 4-3 lead. They trail the series 1-0. A long pass from Langevin off the boards into the Washington zone. The puck picked up by Stevens. Scott Stevens fed it to Craig Laughlin. Laughlin over the Islander line, trying to get it around. Langevin does, but the whistle apparently had sounded on an offside.
Laughlin has a few words with Langevin. Langevin hurt his right leg. Hurt the right leg, that is, of Laughlin as Laughlin tried to get around him.
A couple of notes for you. Shots on goal between these two teams in the regular season in 7 games. See how much Washington outshot the Islanders by? Almost, 101 shots, as a matter of fact. Last night, game 1, they outshot the Islanders 27-18. And on the entire season, the Washington Capitals had 2,653 shots over 80 games. The Islanders had 2,396, and tonight, the Caps are out shooting the Islanders 26-17. Imagine in 7 games being outshot by 101.
Incredible. Yet the Islanders win the series 4-3.
And outscored them by 1 goal. Not an empty netter, I guess, really, when you add them all up.
Mike Bossy's empty net goal, the only one in that series.
Into the Islander zone comes Carpenter, and Potvin took him out with a thumping body check. Ersan headed up to Potvin. Fans react to that hit by the Islander captain. He's across the Washington line. A pass through Dwayne Sutter. Moves in deep. Gave it to Gillies, and it shot it wide. Comes right back into the goal mouth. Picked up by Sutter. Unable to feed it to Gillies, and it's cleared around the boards and out into center ice. Persson gets tangled up on the boards with Howard, and the puck went into the penalty box. Game has opened up a little. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Islanders and the Capitals live on SportsChannel.
Right here, Dwayne Sutter unloads. A pass to Gillies. He tipped it just wide of the net as Carpenter 10 and Murphy go to the rescue of the goaltender. Something that we haven't noticed, Jiggs, that we should bring up, the fact that John Tonelli not on the bench or on the ice for the Islanders.
I didn't see what happened, if anything, but Tonelli not out there. Gartner unloads a shot wide on the glove side. Trache cleared it outside the line. It's picked up by Gilbert to Bossy. Trying to come in around Blomqvist. He shoots. That went wide. Comes out in front of Reagan, who got turned around. Missed it. It's in the net.
Not going to count, though, Jake. Waved off by the referee, Lewis. I think it's because the whistle may have blown. The puck came off the backboard. Reagan fielded it rather awkwardly in the goal crease with his back to center ice. I think Gilbert got in and got quick enough to tap it into the net. But the signal by the referee is that it's no goal. Take a look at the replay of it. Reagan seemed to be awkward in his attempt. Right here, Bossy down the right side. There's Gilbert as he tries to get across and give Bossy some help. Bossy lets go with the shot, partially deflected. Here comes off the backboard. Reagan goes out, grabbed it. The whistle had blown, obviously. The referee was down there. He was close to the play. Give referee Brian Lewis credit. He worked his way down the right boards quickly and was in good position. He blew the whistle, nullifying any goal.
Well, that upsets the fans. And it's upset several players. They're still milling around. You see them down there in the Washington end of the ice.
Some discussion, Greg Gilbert and Scott Stevens. Let's take another look at the no goal as Scott Stevens continues to jaw with Brian Trache. There's the shot by Bossy as it comes off the backboards right there. Reagan has it. In comes Greg Gilbert, taps and knocks it into the net. Stevens comes in, pushes Gilbert away from the puck. The referee at that point has signaled no goal. Then it's the stick and gloves in the face, the intimidation. There's a bagel if you get hungry or hanging around the net.
That's down at the Islander end of the ice.
You get a little mustard with it, go down, camp down there, and have yourself a little picnic.
Did he bring his lunch? Well, the goal waved off immediately. Brian Lewis saying that he had blown the whistle. It remains 4-3. And Langway picks up the puck for Washington. Gave it to Gould. The pass hit Nystrom. Recovered by Gould. Gould at center ice. Dumps it wide of the Islander net. Smith cuts it off. Morrow's chased all the way back, and Boudelier comes out on the left side. Dumps it into the center ice zone. Shan knocked it down. Shot it right back in again, but offside. They're ruling. Shan took a hit. You see him getting back up after having made the play.
Bob Nystrom got a piece of him. Shand was off balance. He was spinning anyway, and Nystrom finished it off. One of the few shifts in the hockey game for Bob Nystrom. No, that's not his teeth. That's a mouth guard. Hockey players, most of them now, wear mouth guards, much like fighters have worn for years. We talk about Brian Lewis, the referee, Jiggs. He was the referee of record in the Islanders' '81 Stanley Cup clincher against Minnesota.
He now also the referee the night the Islanders clinched first place in the Patrick Division this past season. Handled the game between the Islanders and the Caps. There's Langway with a shot. And off Billy Carroll. Fired toward the net and scooped up by Bill Smith.
Backhand drive by Mike Gardner. Good play by Langway as he moved in quickly at the point position to intercept an Islander pass off the boards. He passed it to Gardner. He squealed and let go with a backhand shot. You know that Langway in the first 2 periods played 1 full period. He played 20 minutes and 20 seconds through the first 2 periods of hockey.
You played with Bobby Orr at his best. The ice time that Langway's getting, how does it compare with what Orr would get?
Well, it depends on who you're playing, Jiggs, and what what's happening in the hockey game. But there's no question Orr was on the ice some nights as much as the goalposts and the lines. I mean, it was incredible. But there were other nights when he didn't play nearly as much. But when you're going for scoring titles and records and so on, you tend to give players like he the ice time that they can handle.
Langway just broke up the Islander rush and was forced him to go back. Pearson across the Potvin on the left wing. Didn't catch up with it, and Haworth drops it to Langway. Now to Blomqvist. Out to Haworth at center ice over 2 lines with that pass, so they'll face off inside the Washington zone.
Rod Langway, Jiggs, is not the effortless skater that Orr was when he was semi-healthy. Orr was never really 100% anytime he played. You would have never known it, but Orr was just an extremely talented skater along with all the other things he could do. One of the reasons he was able to do them was because he was so good on his skates.
I think that's a very good point. A lot of fans didn't realize that Bobby Orr came out of junior hockey.
That's a Smith.
That's a Smith. Yeah,
that's one of Billy Smith's sons. I don't know what his first name is, but no question that is easy to spot.
Either Chad or Corey. Well, back to the play. We've got a penalty call against the New York Islanders. Carpenter went down. Langevin is going off. And the Capitals get an opportunity here with the man advantage. A break in the action. The Islanders leading the Washington Capitals by a score of 4-3.
Langevin, there goes the right leg out. Boom. Carpenter cartwheeling across the center ice stripe. See players get hurt, get knee injuries in plays like that. Dave Langevin whistled to the penalty box for tripping Bobby Carpenter, and a timeout has been called by the Washington Capitals.
Have a look at Brian Murray as he addresses the remainder of the troop.
And on the Washington Capitals side of center ice, Carpenter rolled across center ice after being hit. That generally, in a third period situation and a 1-goal lead by either team, sometimes referees will kind of let that go.
After Goring cleared the puck, Langway starts out, played it through to Christian, comes in on left wing, he hit the goal post, it's loose and they score! Gardner backhands it in, we're tied 4-4.
Another power play goal for the Washington Capitals. They stormed across the blue line, a couple of chances, the first one off the goal post, and then Mike Gardner, using his speed and his strength, bolstered his way in across the line. Here's Langway, led the rush. There's his little flip pass. Christian gets across the line, goes to the backhand. There it is off the goal post. The puck loose. Potvin swung at it and missed. And a backhand shot by Gardner is in the net. And the game is tied at 4 apiece. Watch Langway. Beautiful pass. Timed it perfectly around Stefan Pearson. And then a nice backhand shot. A beauty by Christian off the goal post to the right of Billy Smith. And before the Islanders could clear it, Mike Gardner had slammed it into the open net for a tie game at 4.
The Capitals have found something in this series that they did not have in the regular season, and that's the power play. They had the 18th best power play in the league. Third poorest. Here's Lachlan moving in a shot. Smith, the stick hand save as the Capitals come close again. Latley over on right wing. Tries the puck off the boards. Has trouble getting it out of his own zone. Now dumps it to center. Stevens picks it up. Slaps it right back in. 6.5 minutes remaining in regulation time. Smith to Langevin. Now to LaFontaine. Gets away from Curry's check. Comes over center ice across the Washington line. Tried to get through the defense. Couldn't do it. Gave it to Pat Flatley. Flatley up to LaFontaine to Keller, who shot it wide. Johnson over on the right wing. Poked it to the corner. It hit Stevens. Keller tapped it right back to the Washington defenseman. He lugs it to center ice into the Islander zone. Stevens with a drive. Smith the save. Stevens, both offensively and defensively, having a good game. The puck comes out in front. There's Gould. He can't get set for the shot. Islanders in trouble in their own end of the ice. Gould chasing the puck. Johnson runs him into the boards. LaFontaine soccer styles it ahead to Flatley. Got it outside the line. Plays it across to the left side. Coming back for it, Langevin. Ian Murphy. Minutes and 8 seconds.
29 shifts, Jiggs.
He's played 7 minutes and 48 seconds of this period. We're, well, let's see, we're 14 minutes and 19 seconds into it. He's been out there for more than half the period.
And you know, with 5 minutes and 41 seconds and a game tied, he's going to see a lot more ice time. Thing here, Langway's led a lot of rushes. That's he's pointing now to his coach. Me? You mean me? You want me off? I'm not getting off. Not while I've still got a breath in me. Not while I can still play this game that I love so much.
Born in Taiwan.
Went to the University of New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Classmate of my oldest son. Known each other for years. Rod Langway. Very personable guy.
The score tied 4-4. A little delay in getting things started here again. Now Leon Stickle, the linesman, ready to drop the puck, and Trottier comes up with it. Shot it into the Washington end of the ice. Langway over in the far wing, failed to clear it out. Greg Gilbert moves in. Gilbert to Bossy. Good stop by Regan. The rebound, and he has smothered that. As Bossy hung right with it, cruising through the goal crate.
A cool pack. Regan takes the puck away from the onrushing New York Islanders. Good move by Regan. Good attempt by the Islanders. Langway lost the puck. He tried to chop it outside the blue line. Intercepted by Greg Gilbert. There's his drop pass. Bossy got a chunk of it. Good shot. Good stop. Good coverage in front of the net. Regan ends up with the puck.
5 minutes, 29 seconds remaining in regulation time. Trottier takes a little time. Now we'll step into the face-off circle, and the linesman moves away. Picked up something that had been thrown on the ice. Jarvis and Trottier, an important face-off in the Washington end of the ice. Boudelier and Morrow at the points. And Ron Finn asks Trottier to move out. Greg Gilbert on the draw. Puck went off his skates. Murphy played it across to the left side, and Gaetan Duchesne comes over center into the Islanders' zone with a shot that missed Smith and went wide. Now he grabs it at the side of the net as you see him spread out and down on the ice.
One of the few times, Jiggs, you haven't seen two face-off men for the Islanders on the ice when it's in either end of the ice at this point in the hockey game. That time Gilbert had to take the face-off. Brian Trottier was waved out. Greg Gilbert gets the nod. Haven't seen that too many times late in the hockey game, and particularly at either end of the ice.
On this occasion, Butch Goring has come out. The face-off in the Islander end of the ice. In case Trottier is waved out here, they've got a backup center. Wayne Sutter is the other forward. Potvin and Persson on defense. Glenn Curry facing off for Washington. They have Shand moved up on the right side. Duchesne on the left, and the draw comes back to Langway. Langway shot. Smith, the glove save. He holds on to it.
Rightfully so, Jiggs. He can't unload it at that point. Curry is over here on the near side, down the right wing side. Can't throw it over there. He's too close to it. Shand was standing within 10 feet of him. Shot by Langway, a good one. It was low enough, but again, Billy Smith down in the crouch, keeping the catching mitt well down on the ice, or very close to the ice, guarding against the low shot.
Washington taking some time, making late changes. Now the Islanders will change. Washington has sent out Carpenter, Erickson, and Howarth. Al Arbor sends Bossy out there. He replaces Dwayne Sutter. Goring stays out on the ice as the backup center, and the Caps got the draw. Bloomquist at the blue line. Backhanded it in front. That's cleared by Persson to Bossy across to Goring. Goring slaps it into the Washington end. Regan slowed it up. Stevens goes to the corner. Bossy went in after it, knocked it loose, and is knocked to the ice by Carpenter's check. Ryan Trottier battles off the boards. Got it to Persson. Couldn't get it over to Gilbert in time, and Howarth starts out for the Caps. Alan Howarth left it at center ice. Recovers it now and dumps it into the corner. Off the board, Smith leaves it for Persson to Gilbert. Greg Gilbert off the boards with the pass to Trottier. Now to Potvin. 4.5 minutes remaining in the third period as Potvin backhanded it in deep. Facing it, it's Langway. Rod Langway. Playing it back and forth with Murphy. Then Langway gets turned around, and Murphy recovers in time. Gave it to Shand. Jan's pass up the left side. Erickson into the Islander zone with a sizzler that came off the glass. David Jan moves in, works it back of the net. This is Erickson. Gets bumped by, or Duchesne rather, gets bumped by Potvin. Now to Gilbert. He's cleared it into center ice. Langway for the Caps. Bounces one in front of the Islander net that dribbles wide. 4 minutes remaining in the third period. Here's Greg Gilbert. His pass blocked originally. Gilbert picked it up, then took a hit from Gustafson, and Christian gets over the line. Got it around the boards. Flatley recovers. That's Flatley. Potvin moves it up left wing. Gilbert jabbing at it. Couldn't get it out. Gartner shot. Smith the save, and the puck is loose. Recovered by Persson. Efren Persson pulled it away from the checking of Gustafson. Out it goes to Gilbert at center ice. Greg Gilbert shoots it in off the board. Reagan left it for Stevens. Stevens tries the left side. Long pass from Gustafson, intercepted by Caller, who's out on left wing. Gave it to Flatley across the line. Caller dumps it to the corner. LaFontaine in to pick it up. LaFontaine checked by Stevens. Back to the net. There's Flatley battling for it. Out in front, LaFontaine couldn't get a stick on it. Thomas Johnson moves in for the Islanders. To Caller in the corner. He is too well covered, and Stevens moves it up the right side. At center ice, it's Gartner over the Islander line. Gartner's shot. Smith makes that save. Gartner, neat play using Langevin as a screen, and out comes Thomas Johnson. Johnson knocked down at center ice. Wayne Sutter poked it in over the line. Lundqvist was there to clear it out for the Caps. Langevin feeds Johnson over on the right side. We have 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the third period. The score tied 4-4 as the Caps forced to chase it. Goring goes into forecheck. Langway back in time. Around the boards it goes. Gillies unable to pick it up. Jarvis gets bumped and the puck is loose in the Islander end. Stefan Persson ahead for Potvin. Now to Dwayne Sutter. To Butch Goring. He's over the line working on Murphy. Goring fired it toward the net. Riggin the glove save, and he'll hold on for a face-off.
Go to Minnesota, Jiggs. The game between the St. Louis Blues and the Minnesota North Stars. When we last left it, it was 3-1 for Minnesota. Take a look. In Minnesota's end of the ice, St. Louis, good pass. Gantner and Gilmore assisting as Jorgen Pettersson makes it 3-2 in the third period at 4:21. Let's look again. There's Gantner to Jorgen Pettersson. It's 3-2 now, 4:21. Gantner and Gilmore assisting on Pettersson's goal. That's in the third period, and it's 3-2.
Here the score tied 4-4. Doug Jarvis waiting for the Islanders to complete a late change. They've got a delay in the game in Edmonton, I'm told.
We haven't been getting any scores, Jiggs, and we've been wondering why.
They've got a Zamboni problem. Between the first and second period, the ice-making machine broke down. Face-off in the Washington zone. The Caps came up with the puck. Murphy backhanding it down into the Islander territory. Langevin will take over. Washington with 4 power play goals tonight. The Islanders have had one. They led at one time. The Islanders did, that is, 3-0 in the first period. The Caps battled back. It was 4-2. The end of one. Washington now is called for icing. Washington got a goal in the second period from Stevens, a goal in the third period from Gartner, and we are tied 4-4.
Islanders have been taking over the play a little bit here in the later stages of the third period. Some opportunities. Riggin, come up with a couple of saves. There's the two coaches, Al Arbor, Brian Murray. Dave Shan sitting in front of Brian Murray, signaling down to the end of the bench. I need a little refreshment. Pat Riggin steadies himself, thinks about 1 minute and 55 seconds remaining in the game. The face-off of Washington's end of the ice. A 4-4 tie.
Al Jensen started the game in goal for the Caps, gave up 4 goals on 10 shots in the first 13 and a half minutes, 13:39 actually, and was replaced by Riggin, who has just now faced his 10th shot. That's replacing Jensen, and has not yielded a goal. Puck dug off the boards and cleared out to center ice. Potvin sends Caller over the line. LaFontaine couldn't get back on side in time. The rolling by linesman Ron Finn.
6 goals scored in the first period, and since then, only 2. Stevens in the second period, and then Gartner here in the third. Montreal. A final score, they have defeated the Quebec Nordiques 4-1 in the Coliseum in Quebec City. That evens that series at one game apiece. The Montreal Canadiens, they needed to win a game in Quebec City, and they have done that, tying the series at 1 game apiece. That was Rod Langway a moment ago, getting some refreshment on the bench. He'll be back out there, I'm sure, pretty quick.
Here's Stevens at center ice, faking the shot. It's into the Islanders' zone. The puck knocked away from him. By the time he recovered, it was offside. Now with 1 minute and 32 seconds left in regulation time. A couple of other scores, or games at least, still going on that are very, very tight. Edmonton and Calgary tied 1-1. St. Louis and Minnesota are 3-3 in the third period. We'll have all the details of the Islander wrap-up show immediately following tonight's game. But this one is far from being over. Last night, Washington got a goal with 62 seconds left to beat the Islanders. Just when it appeared we were headed for overtime in game 1. Langway shooting the puck into the Islander end of the ice. Langevin picks it up. Around to Thomas Janssen. Off the boards, Flatley gets hauled down. Janssen picks up the puck. Comes over center and shot it around the boards. Riggin cuts it off back of the net. Picked up by Murphy. Now to Langway. Out to Christian. Christian leads the rush. Gartner moves up right wing. Gustafsson on the left side. Gustafsson with the pass. Can't make the play as Janssen kicked it away from him. And here comes LaFontaine. LaFontaine cuts to the left. He's over the Washington line. Put on the brakes. The pass off Langway. Picked up by Keller. But Flatley put it out in front. LaFontaine couldn't get a stick on it as the Caps covered up quickly. Dave Christian moving up right wing. Forced to turn. Now gets to the Islander line and dumps it in. 42 seconds left in regulation time. Pearson goes back in the net. Gave it to Bossy over on the right side. Bossy lugs it into center. Backhands it off the board. Reagan out of the net. Left it for Stevens. Oh, he's hit solidly by Trottier. Gilbert moves the puck to the end boards. Trottier works it back in the net. Reagan without a goal stick. The Islanders can't get control of the puck at the moment. Hotman at the point. Plays it to the right side. Offside is the call. And now Riggin can recover the goal stick and safety with 19 seconds remaining.
Brian Trottier lined up Scott Stevens behind the net. Tremendous collision again. Stevens, tremendously strong, saw Trottier at the last minute and met the onslaught. Both players had to hurt a little bit from the jar that Trottier delivered to Scott Stevens.
Game 3, Sunday night in Washington. Game 4, Monday night at the Capitol Center. And this one is far from over. 19 seconds remaining in regulation time. Trottier set the face off with Doug Jarvis. Puck at the Washington line. Stevens got it up the left side and it's dumped in around the boards by Sampson. Potvin with it now. Gave it to Trottier. Fires it into center ice. Langway recovers. 5 seconds left. Played it to Sampson. It hit Potvin. The puck loose, and that's going to do it. Regulation time. 4-4 tie. Washington on the ropes. Down at one time 3-0. Battled back. It was 4-2 after the first period. They kept chipping away. Got power play goals in the second and again in the third. And have tied the Islanders 4-4 after 60 minutes of play. So we'll go to overtime in Game 2 of the Patrick Division Final. Back with a recap right after these messages.
If you're a busy executive and you've got a corporation that needs to get around in comfort and in a hurry and save money too, and in behind him, he'd come off the boards. He was falling, he hit the boards and was kind of rebounding off the boards when Thomas Janssen slid in behind him and give him an extra nudge. Here's the play here. There he is. Bobby Gould goes down. He loses his balance. No penalty, of course, on the play. There, he's just coming off the boards when Thomas Janssen piled in and kind of snapped his head. Let's go to overtime.
All right, Trottier gets the draw to Gilbert. Bossy's with him on right wing. Pearson and Potvin on defense. Pearson fell at the blue line, got the puck to the Washington line, and Langway had it to Potvin. He's over the line with a shot that went wide. Came off the boards. Trottier steps in front of Langway. Ryan Trottier back to the point. Here's Stephen Pearson to Gilbert. Greg Gilbert into the corner. Backhanded one, and that just skimmed wide of the net. Gartner over on right wing is checked by Potvin. Potvin dumps it into the cap zone, but Bossy hadn't been able to get back on side, so play is called.
Islanders have the right idea, Jiggs. You do not play cautious in overtime. They jumped right on. The Washington Capitals put them back in their own end of the ice. That backhand shot by Craig Gilbert just skimming outside the goalpost. Larry Murphy, Mike Bossy having a few words. Face-off, though, will go out into the center ice area on the Islanders' side. I thought that was an icing call. It must have been, oh no, it was offside. An Islander trapped in Washington's end of the ice.
Bossy hadn't been able to get back on side. Pat LaFontaine centers for Anders Kaller and Pat Flatley. Kaller substituting for the injured John Tonelli on left wing. The puck comes loose. Shot into the Islanders zone by Blomqvist, picked up by Thomas Janssen. Off the boards to Flatley, ran into Stevens. LaFontaine picks up the puck. One-handed it over to Kaller, who pokes it to the corner. Blomqvist around behind the net. It's stolen by Flatley. At Flatley trying to center. Checked by Curry. Put it off to the side of the net. That was cleared by Reagan. LaFontaine battling Stevens for control of the puck. Kaller picks it up. Unable to center it. Stevens without a stick. Kaller knocks it away from him. But chasing it now is Curry. Glenn Curry moved it up the right side. Rockland sends Lundqvist over the line. He shot it wide. Duchesne works it back at the net. Langevin was there. Langevin off the boards. Kaller couldn't get a stick on it. Timo Blomqvist fires it back in way offside, and there's no further play.
Washington trying to pick up the tempo, Jiggs. Can get a shot away as of yet, but they started down the ice, trying to form something, trying to get some consistent effort. Let's take a look at the Sports Channel out-of-town scoreboard. 3-3 now. St. Louis has come back-to-back goals. Minnesota was leading 3-1 at one time. They've gone to overtime also.
Less than a capacity crowd. Not every ticket sold for tonight's game again. As the puck has been shot into the Washington end, Gillies goes in after it. Mark Gillies centered off the stick. Eddie Morrow moves up. Got it to Gillies, and his shot went wide of Reagan. Wayne Sutter unable to hold it in the Washington end of the ice. Morrow went back, gave it to Sutter. Wheels off the right wing. The pass to Gillies. Mark Gillies ran into Murphy. Sutter gets a stick on it. Got it around behind the net. Langway took it from Reagan. Played it to the left side. That's Sampson. Morrow knocks him down. Goring picks up the puck. Can't center from back of the net. Now it comes loose. Gillies and Langway go after it. Goring in, but the puck has been picked up and cleared by Jarvis. Up this left side. Sampson to the Islander line, trying to cut in around Morrow. Was knocked off Sampson's stick. He recovers and is knocked down. Gartner takes it off the board. And Goring steps into him. Butch Goring and Morrow poke it loose. Potvin has it back in the net. Potvin across to the right side, just out of the reach of Dwayne Sutter, and the puck is loose. Stevens will touch up, and the Islanders are called for icing.
A little different hockey here in the overtime, Jiggs. The team sacrificing a little, starting to skate. Well, things haven't exactly opened up. A little better skating game. Probably some of the best hockey we've seen through the first 3 periods.
Yeah, they've gotten it together here, all right, through the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds of overtime.
No question, both teams know how much it means. At Washington, they know what it would be to have a 2-game lead going home to play their first game at home against the Islanders. And, of course, the Islanders, realizing all of that, knowing that they have lost their home ice advantage, would like to at least capture back some of it.
Trottier will face off against Glenn Curry. Trottier pulled it to the corner. Duchesne reached in to knock it away from Janssen. Goring picks it up. Played it to the blue line. Trottier knocked it loose down into the Washington zone. He and Stevens chasing it. Trottier around the posse, comes out in front and backhanded it through the goal crease. Here's Gilbert with a shot. Hit the side of the net. Gilbert picks it up in the corner. Played it around the boards. Bossy had gone to the front of the net. Now recovers. Can't slow up Duchesne, who got it to Curry at center. Gilbert slowed him up, however. Over the line, Lachlan, a drive. Smith the save, and Langevin takes over. Dave Langevin carrying it out of his own end of the ice. Cuts to the left side at center. He's into the Washington zone, trying to get in around Haworth. Lost the puck. Lundqvist clears it. Alan Haworth around to Scott Stevens. Stevens up this left side. Duchesne poked it into center ice for LaFontaine. Recovers. Gave it to Potvin. Now to Janssen. Thomas Janssen to Gilbert. Missed the pass. The puck is loose. Ends up back of the net. Lundqvist Touches up, and we get an icing here against the Islanders.
Teams, Jiggs, trying to spring away a breakaway pass. We've seen some errant passes because of it. A one-shot deal they're looking for, rather groping, reaching out, hoper pass. 3 icings because of it. Billy Smith a moment ago, what a timely save with the left foot. Here's Lachlan crossing the line. There's a quick shot by Lachlan. Billy Smith stretching way out with his left foot. Got just enough of it to deflect it to the left side of the net. Bossy down at the other end. Brian Trottier takes a slap from Stevens, and Bossy coming out just missed the far left-hand goalpost with his backhand.
On Tuesday night, the Islanders and the Rangers, 15 shots in overtime. Here there's been only 1 through the first 3.5 minutes, and that by the Capitals. Murphy with the puck, gave it to Langway. Rod Langway up the left side. Carpenter flips it into the Islander end of the ice. Smith leaves it back of the net for Potvin. Around to the left side, comes off the glass, picked up by Murphy, gets checked by LaFontaine, and here's Flatley. His pass intercepted by Langway as Caller was breaking down the right side. And the Islanders forced back again. Potvin moves it to the blue line. Langway lets a shot go, and that drifted wide. Potvin tries the left wing. Caller was there. Anders Caller moving up. 3 Capitals back. Caller cuts to the right wing. He's over the Washington line with Flatley, and Flatley, they roll, stepped in ahead of the puck carrier.
One move too many by Anders Caller, and Flatley misjudged his move. He thought he was cutting across the blue line. Flatley wanted to time it so he'd be heading for the net about the time Caller reached his backhand position so he could pass it to him. Caller made one extra move and created the offside as Flatley was in well ahead of him.
Al Arbor sending out Butch Goring, Dwayne Sutter, and Clark Gillies. Johnson and Langevin on defense. Christian will take the face-off. He is flanked by Gartner on the right, Gustafson on the left. Lundqvist and Stevens on the Washington defense as Gillies played the puck in his own zone. Gustafson picked it up but couldn't move in. Ian Gillies bumping. Clark Gillies takes control of the puck, played it off his own goal. Langevin around to the right side. This is Dwayne Sutter. Sutter goes rink wide. The puck went off Goring's stick, picked up by Blomqvist. And again, the Islanders have to chase it. Johnson slaps it off the boards to Dwayne Sutter. Dumps it back behind the net for Langevin. He tries the left side with a pass to Gillies. Now to Johnson, overskated it, recovers, gives it to Dwayne Sutter. Sutter to Goring. Now to reach behind, and never did pick up the puck. Gustafson over to Abel Blomqvist. Blomqvist from center ice fires it in wide of Bill Smith. Washington in the middle of a player change as Johnson starts out now. Johnson's pass goes to Gillies. Mark Gillies rifles one from the blue line. Glove save by the goaltender, but offside had been called. They have played 5 minutes and 11 seconds of sudden death overtime.
Clark Gillies struggles again, Jiggs. All season long, he had spurts. Looked like he was coming out of it. All of a sudden, back, having trouble fighting the puck. That time, he knocked the puck down with his hand as he skated down the ice. Wound up, let the shot go, but created the offside. He was a little slow getting the shot away.
Now the crowd starting to come to life again. Billy Carroll just won the face-off. Potvin gave it to Morrow. He has slapped it around behind the net. Riggin to Langway. Out of Gaetan Duchesne, checked by Morrow. The puck came loose. Eddie Morrow nudged it into the corner. Langway was there. Gave it to Curry to the right side. Out of the reach of Lachlan, who moves up. Potvin has fed it to Billy Carroll. Backhands it wide of Riggin. That goes Rod Langway. Murphy now to Duchesne of the Caps. Duchesne dumps it into center ice. Nystrom leaned into Lachlan and poked it back to Morrow. To Billy Carroll. Carroll unable to send Nystrom over the Washington line. This is Curry coming down left wing. And Curry centered one in front, picked off by Potvin. Potvin banks it out into center ice. Carroll picks it up. Sends Greg Gilbert over the line. Gilbert trying to get in around Murphy. Had to go to the corner to recover the puck. And gets tangled up with Murphy. They battled for it. And it's frozen on the board.
People are enjoying the overtime here, Jake. 13:52 remaining in the first overtime period. Pretty good pace for 2 pretty tired hockey teams. If you look at that particular note, you've got to favor the Washington Capitals. They haven't played nearly as much hockey as the Islanders in the last couple of weeks. The other thing is the Capitals have a little younger team than the Islanders do now. That could start to tell as this game goes along.
The Islander youth coming out on the ice now in the persons of LaFontaine and Flatley. Anders Kaller, who has not played in the playoffs till tonight, is out on left wing. Well, let me correct myself. He was in the lineup when Nystrom was out early in the Rangers series. Langevin and Janssen on defense. Jarvis to take the draw against LaFontaine. Jarvis pulled it to the corner. Kaller went in after it. Anders Kaller off the boards. Back to Janssen. Into Kaller. Kaller plays it to the blue line. Langevin lets it go. Regan way out of the net to knock it down, and he has it in the catching glove.
He started for the point position. That's Regan. Pat Regan. The minute that Langevin received the puck, he looked around, saw everybody covered. Look at the good play by Kaller as he got it over. Gardner goes sliding. Regan goes catching. Way out of the net. A good 15 feet out of his goal crease. Charged out and took the high shot. There's the shot by Langevin over a sprawling Mike Gardner. Snared by Pat Regan.
Now Trache is out on the ice with Bossy and Gillies. Langevin and Janssen remain as the point men. Jarvis on the face-off for Washington. Trache tried to pull it around him. Stevens picks it up. Got away from Trache's check. Stevens up the left side to Carpenter. Carpenter over the Islander line, coming in on goal. He gets checked by Langevin. Gillies goes after the puck. Gillies takes the man. Now gets the puck to Trache. Bossy works his way up the right wing. The pass blocked by Stevens as they try to send Bossy across the line. Jarvis works it to the left side in the Islander zone. Gardner and Janssen go to the corner together. Langevin with the puck. Up the left side to Clark Gillies. Now to Trache. Trache over center ice. He's into the Washington zone. A pass to Bossy. He shoots. It missed the target as Regan looked for it. Gillies went to center when it was cut off. Larry Murphy cut it into the center ice zone. This is Jarvis. Forces the Islanders to go back. Jonas Janssen comes out with a pass off the boards in front of Bossy and recovered now by Langway. Langway to Gustafson. Comes down the left side. Ben Gustafson the shot. Stick save by Smith. Big rebound. Comes out in the left wing. Laughlin gets checked. Trache going for the puck. Around to Dave Langevin. Langevin tries Bossy. Has it on the right side. Moves up with Kaller. Bossy dumped it in wide. Kaller goes in after it. Shoots. He scores! Anders Kaller!
Washington made a couple of mistakes, Jake. Very costly mistakes. Regan made a mistake. Murphy made a mistake. And Anders Kaller with a picture-perfect shot has given the Islanders another overtime victory. They keep coming up. They keep coming back. Bossy shot the puck in. Regan didn't go for it. They didn't take Kaller out of the play, and he put it into the net to the left side of Pat Regan, and the Islanders have staved off going behind 2-0 to tie the series at a game apiece on Anders Kaller's goal.
It comes at 7:35 of sudden death overtime. The Islanders win their 21st overtime playoff game. Second this year. Let's look at it again.
Langevin started the play out of his own end. A beautiful pass to Bossy. He dumped it in. Right here, Murphy should make sure Kaller doesn't get to the puck, but Regan should have went out and cleared the puck. Kaller went in and put it right underneath the left arm of Regan, and the Islanders win 5-4 in overtime.
Well, there will be a fifth game now. We'll have it for you on SportsChannel next Wednesday night. The series is even, 1-1. We'll be back with a recap of tonight's Islander victory right after these messages.
Special presentation. Final, there's